Good evening, all, and welcome to the Tactical Devils. I'm your host, Jarvis Cocker, and with me tonight we have a full panel. Stu Woolley as my co-host. We have Johnny Kermode and Mark Langridge on the panel, and tonight we are going to have a tough debate. Was Amorim backed? Did Ineos let him down? He said the good times are coming, but what really happened? A lot of players came in late. We couldn't sell anyone. And now we ended up signing 4 players this summer. If you include Lyon, I think we added up to 5 players. Is Amorim really backed? We will have the tough debate. So guys, girls, smash the like, subscribe if this is your first time, and we will be back after the intro. So see you in a second. Yes, and good evening, all. Welcome again to the Tactical Devils. I will bring the panel on, and we will be ready to have a great debate. So, first of all, my co-host Stu Woolley, we have Johnny K and Mark Langridge. So, let's just, before I introduce the panel, let's just say hi to the people who have tuned in already. We have Catherine McDade. Big up, Catherine. Good to see you. We have Jamie Wayne. Is not happy with the transfer window. Mr. B, who else? Jorge Oliver Venezuela is here. Big up, big up. Good to see you. We have Jamie, big up, and Tom Porter coming in and saying, yo, yo, yo. And James is also here. Big up, James. Good to see you. Carlos is also here. A lot of people starting to tune in already. Guys, girls, if this is your first time, subscribe, and please do us a favor, smash the like, and I will also bring you the X link in a while so you guys can share, because we are co-streaming on X at the same time. Fred the Red is also in the house. Hi guys, big up Fred, good to see you. Good to see you, Fred. Fred kept his job on Old Trafford. He will continue being Fred the Red because we sold Sancho. So at least there's some positive news tonight. So, and Eduardo is also here. So let's get into it. Stu Woolley, how have you been, my friend?
I'm tired. I had a dash to Paris today, so out and back in the same day for meetings. Yeah, for meetings. But as of tonight, I'm on holiday for a few days. So we've got a cottage.
That's nice.
Got a cottage in Taunton, so we are heading down there tomorrow. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to the show. By the way, big up to everybody who tuned in on Saturday evening with myself, Mark, and Johnny K. Thank you for all your support. It was absolutely superb. The dirty stop out to my left as I look at my screen, Mr. Jarvis Cocker, was absolutely wankered. Dropped and broke his phone and complained that his phone wasn't working. We all know what happens when you've had a few Swifties, don't we? A few sherbets. He's got his cheeks on it. His little cheeks are puffed. His little rose cheeks are puffed. We missed you, old friends. We missed you. The Devilish Tacticos missed you.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're back, though.
I'm back, baby. But I gotta tell you, it was a nice trip to Mallorca. Good friends. Had a couple of glasses of cava. Good dinners. Ate some beautiful beefs and all of that. So I'm quite happy. I can't complain. I have to be so honest.
You look refreshed.
Life is beautiful.
Yes.
Johnny Kermode, glad that you could join us, and it was great that you could actually step in on Saturday's match reaction show. So how are you doing? Is the States, is the summer heat still on in Florida?
Yes, it very much so is. Today is actually Labor Day in the US, so it's actually a 3-day weekend for us, which is as well I'm able to be on this show tonight from the start. So, but yeah, it's still nice, lovely, and hot here. I think it's probably going to cool down. So it's now that we're in September. So, but yeah, and also in America, for those who are fans of it, the NFL starts on Thursday night as well. So that'll be. I've grown to admire the games since moving here. So obviously with the international break, I probably won't miss soccer that much because I can watch a lot of NFL games. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the autumn now and everything. Now that the window's shut, so we can just concentrate on getting a few results, hopefully.
Yes,
we can all hope so. And Mark, you must be knackered. You just did a show on Balls Out podcast. How was it? Was it good?
Well, yeah, it was my first ever solo flying show. So there was quite a mess beneath me to clean up, before when I got started, but I felt I grew into it. I said to Stu backstage, it's very different talking to the camera with no other interaction, noise-wise or anything like that to feed off. But there's been plenty of stuff to talk about through our transfer window, so I can't wait to go through that. My stepdaughter has just pointed out to me I've probably been on YouTube for 4 hours straight by the time this is finished. So, yeah, exactly. So I'll sleep well tonight. I'm already enjoying the rating of our transfer window in the chat. A little bit different to mine, but for the same reasons. So, and NFL, I hope you are not going and watching the Buccaneers.
I definitely no. I definitely I mean, my wife's from Pittsburgh, so my allegiance is with the Steelers, but their main rivals, the Cleveland Browns, well said, I'm sorry, special dispensation. The Bucks are my least favorite, and I hope they lose every week. So I definitely. But although the Bucks are the closest team to me, if there was a Florida team, I'll probably be the Dolphins for me. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's acceptable. I'm a big Raiders fan, but one day they'll become good when they stop moving around from state to state.
Yes.
Yeah. What are we talking about? LA Raiders, Oakland Raiders. What type of Raiders are we?
We're now Vegas.
It's Las Vegas.
Vegas Raiders. Okay.
Yeah.
But, they keep being moved around and everything. But there's this stadium Camping World, and the Jaguars are having their stadium refurbished, so they might come to play in Orlando, thinking about 2 seasons time. So there will be local season, but they're probably the team most likely to move to London.
I was going to say there's rumours that they ground share or play out of Wembley. They'll either ground share with Tottenham and seriously play their games out of there on the artificial pitch underneath, or they play out of Wembley.
I personally think give it another 10 years, I'm almost certain there'll be a London franchise in the NFL. I'm almost certain of it.
Yeah. I'm just retweeting the show on X. I will share you guys the link so you can help us out, so we can reach out to a broader audience. And I noticed now on YouTube all the big YouTubers been doing the transfer deadline show. It ended 7 p.m. UK time. Now we're talking 9 p.m. 9:25 actually. So it's been a couple of hours. It's time to assess. Do we feel happy about the window? How do we feel? Are we happy with the signings? What we do with our midfield? We will do a rating. We'll go through the panel. We will talk about the rating of the window and players out. And we will also talk about the financial situation. What can we expect going forward? Will January bring something? Is it a chance that we could sign someone? And we will also talk about, in general, Man United. Is there any updates on the Cunha injury? Do we know more about what happened on Saturday? So we will talk about all Man United. We have 2 hours now. We're only 10 minutes into the show, so guys, do us a favor, smash the like, and while I bring you the link, you can help us and share on X. So first of all, Stu, since you're my co-host,
yes,
we have been sitting here now for 3 months talking about transfers, mainly transfers, and we have been expecting players to come in. We said we wanted players in early. We expected minimum 5 players in, maybe 7, up to 10. Someone was mentioning 4 midfielders, 3 midfielders, wing backs. You know, what happened? What happened?
Yeah, look, to me, this is a really difficult one to swallow because I think on normal occasions, most of us would rate this transfer window as quite good. You bring in the likes of Cunha, you bring in the likes of Mbumo in particular, you know, you're getting grade A performers. And I think we'll all appreciate they've made a big, big difference already. My understanding is that Cunha didn't walk away from Old Trafford in a boot. Jarvis is no longer with the Brazilian squad. So I think it'll be watch his space to see whether he'll line up against City, I think.
No, he's pulled his hamstring.
Is that 100%?
Yeah, he's having a scan either today, I believe it was at a training ground, or we'll find out if the MRI scanner's up and running. He's either having it at a training ground or he's having a scan tomorrow.
Hopefully,
but yeah, it came out earlier.
Well, the new facility has that facility.
Yeah.
But have we employed anyone to run it?
No, that's true. You can't kind of survive. You know, if it's a pulled hamstring, a couple of weeks rest. If it's a torn hamstring, we got problems. He's out for 8 weeks, 8 to 12 weeks. So fingers crossed, he lines up.
The wording, Stu, was the pain. Due to the pain, they've got a scan earlier because obviously, you know, swelling, they like to let it go down. Due to the pain he's had, they've got the scan earlier. Now, whether that pain is pain, so he didn't fly to Brazil.
Yes, he's not gone to Brazil, yeah.
Which, okay, not so bad potentially. But if it's pain straight away, as you know, with your fight, like, that's not a good sign at all. That's a tear.
That's a bad sign.
Yeah,
it's a bad sign. So we don't know anyway, kind of where we are with Cunha. I think it is 100% watch his space. But we're woefully under-equipped, aren't we, in a lot of areas. The goalkeeper one is still a big gamble for me. I think he's a great goalkeeper. There's no two ways about it. I think the potential in this kid is huge, and we probably will go on to have one of the best goalkeepers in world football over the next 3 to 4 seasons. My worry is he comes in now and he does what James Trafford has done at City just recently, and we can all attest to how brilliant Trafford was for Burnley last season. It's a different James Trafford at Man City. Are we going to have a similar issue with Lamans? On that basis, I would have gone for Martinez or maybe even Donnarumma. So City have snared Donnarumma because obviously Edison is going. They don't trust Trafford. So there's, you know, these are what clubs do. If you have a chance to sign the very best in that position, you go and you take it. Manchester United always did that, but we can't be in that situation at the minute. So really disappointed we haven't had a midfielder come in. Very, very disappointed. We flirted with Labour. I don't know whether that was just a flirt or what. I don't really know. People said we put a bid in for 55 mil. I mean, that's just going to insult anybody, isn't it? You know, I'm not quite sure the validity of that. No. Would we be that daft to do it?
People I know, Stu, there was no bid.
I think that's where I'd be leaning towards. And then we've taken a very, very long time to buy and close a deal with Lamans. So what's happened in 48 hours is brilliant, but it proves that Manchester United can shift these players within 48 hours. You can shift Rasmus, you can shift Anthony, you can shift Sancho. Nobody saw Sancho going to Villa at all, but you can do it.
Yeah.
You know, we did Rashford earlier on, and you know, I think the club and Ineos in particular have got to look at themselves, and there's massive mistakes and errors. Looks like Liverpool just signed Isak. That's just been firmed up. Huge errors in our recruitment. I don't see how we can survive, Jarvis and lads. I really don't see how we can survive our midfield without a big overhaul. How we haven't gone into the midfield market with Casemiro, Ugarte, Mount injured, Cunha potentially injured for more than 2 weeks, and we haven't gone and bought in a midfielder. I don't get it. I'm absolutely flabbergasted. When you're looking at the champions of England, okay, and have gone and spent, okay, they didn't get Gay over the line, but they spent £400 million. Now, we know we got the money. It's not about the money. It's about the champions of England going out and spending just let that sink in, just for a split second, fellas, £400 million. Now, did they need Alexander Isak? Absolutely not, because let's face it, Ekitike's coming in, he's done a good job. So something's got to give at Liverpool, but we're not in that position where something's got to give, Jarvis.
Yeah.
We should be in a position where something has to give. We should be able to get a player in, get in Baleba, and I'll deal with that conundrum. You know, get in whoever, Hjulmand. Why on earth we haven't gone and bought Hjulmand? Why on earth we didn't slab a bid in for Sander Berge? Why on earth we didn't slab a bid in for Lukic? Look at what Paulinho's done to Spurs. Yes, I know they got beat, but he's added this energy. Spurs have then also added, what's his name? Kone from, no, it's not Kone, is it? What's the striker from PSG?
Moane. Yeah.
Yeah, added him tonight. You know, this is what's happening. Arsenal had a pretty good window. Newcastle have had an okay kind of window. You know, there are, it's not a great window for us. And it sounds dumb. It sounds stupid. We're sitting here and thinking Cunha and Bumo, Sesko, Diego Leon, Lamans. That's not a great window for us. That's crazy, isn't it? Because 2 years ago, it had been a superb window for any team. Any team. But City haven't done a great deal. Cherky's injured. He's out for 2 months. Rangers can't cope with the Premier League. We've all seen that. Rodri's nowhere near the Rodri that we know.
Well, there's a car crash waiting to happen there. If you saw the two interviews, Rodri said in his TV interview, and Pep had to follow it when they was quizzed about it. You were like, see Pep's face, hearing the questions, like these are on different wavelengths. One is questioning the club, and one is Pep.
Yeah. I mean, they've got real issues. You know, City, and we've got to capitalise that in 2 weeks' time.
Right, isn't it?
But we can't capitalise on it because I think we're going to get overrun by a woeful midfield that City have got. So he's going to have to relook at it. I can't imagine he's happy. I really can't imagine he's happy. So he's going to have to relook at it and make a decision on what he wants to do in terms of integrating Sesko better, because we're not playing the Sesko strengths at the moment. He's got to make a decision what he does with Ahmad. Got to make a decision now what he does with Cunha out and where he plays Bruno. And does he bring Maino in to play partner Casemiro, push Bruno up as a 10, out on the left, put Mbumo through in the middle, stick Ahmad out on the right, put Sesko through the middle, and Mbumo, who knows? But he's got big decisions to make. So I'm really not overly happy. I think Lamans is a great buy, but you dip in your hand in a pocket where anything can happen, and a single mistake, and we could be in big problems in our goalkeeping department.
Stu, we have a super chat. No, a gifted membership coming in from Rosmano, 10 gifts. I wanted to bring that up.
Yes.
Do you want to do the honor and read out the new members, or should I do it?
You get the music up, and I'll get it up on my screen.
Whoa, less of that.
Fantastic.
Yes. Hold on. Where's my screen?
Here we go. Big up Rosmano. Thank you.
Big up Rosmano. I can't see myself. I was getting excited. Rosmano, the legend, once again has gifted 10 memberships. And Fred the Red's MEFC News is one. Proof. That's someone we've not come across yet. Is another. Broderick is one. Stian Gaming is another. Martin. We got Martin. He's one. I Don't Know Football is one. Anthony Collins. Abdullah Irwin. Nice one. Red Devil Studio. And Vicky. Vicky is a member gifted by Rushmano. So Rushmano, the legend, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Rashmano. You are indeed a legend of the channel. Obi coming in, and one of our moderators saying 25 likes, 67 watching. I think we're more than 70 right now. So if you haven't, please do us a favor and smash the like. When we come to 50, I will stop bothering you about the likes. So just do it already, and I will be happy. A lot of comments coming in. And a lot of new people tuning in already. 157 watching on X and YouTube. I think 103, 101 now on YouTube. So guys, just keep smashing the like. We have bath time also in the house. Coming in and say, big up the lads. How's your preseason going? Hardest one so far for me. Yes, and I think preseason was one of the cues. I saw someone say in the chat, I want to be positive, want to give rate this window, but I think we also feel it's a little bit too little, too late, and I think this is one of the key words. The outgoings. It's okay. We got rid of most of the bomb squad as they have been named. So
who named them the bomb squad? Yeah, does anyone know exactly what a bomb squad is? I mean, because let's face it, them lot aren't going to light a firework, let alone a bomb. You would defuse what? They've got no fire between them. Sancho, I'll try and defuse you. Yeah, there's nothing in there. There's no plastic explosive in there that's gonna light it up. Who is the blue touch paper? I want to know with that name.
I don't know, but I think one of the biggest issues this window was the timing of all the signings. The Cunha signing came in early. Stu, you said already then I was wrong in my assessment of Man United and how we work in the window.
I got a little leeway, didn't I? I got a little leeway there, only a tiny bit, but I had a little leeway.
And then it took us 8 weeks, I think, to sign Mbumo.
Yeah.
After that, it was nothing on the striker market. We were going for the Lap, we were going for Gyökeres, we were going for, I don't know, all the strikers in the world. But we ended up with Sesko, came in late, couldn't play in preseason. Same issues with Mbumo, came in a little bit too late. And the goalkeeper issue, we have had Bayindir, we have had Heaton, we have had Onana in goal so far. So when Lammens comes in, he will be a fourth goalkeeper since preseason. Tells you a little bit about the consistency of the club, the planning. It's dreadful in a lot of ways. So I can sit here and moan, but there are positives. But I wanna hear Johnny Commode's take on the timing of the window and the preseason. If you put it all together.
Yeah, and I think regards to our signings, at the start of summer, I said there would have been 5 priorities: 2 number 10s, a forward, goalkeeper, and a midfielder. So we got 4 out of the 5. Good, but not great. If you look at the actual signings, Cunha and Bruno, no one can have any complaints. They have already had an impact so far since their signing, and they got a pre-season, so you'd have to give credit to those signings. You also have to remember we did finish 15th. We have been able to attract some players to go and play for us, where perhaps other clubs might have been more favoured to get them. But I agree. I think the 3 Sesko, it's a bit of a. I think that's a Vivek signing. I think Ben Jacobs said that I think he effectively won the battle over Amorim. I think Amorim might have preferred Ollie Watkins, and Vivek. Vivel wanted Sesko. So jury's out on that one at this moment, but hopefully he can get a goal or 2. As for the men's, I think that it's a signing for the future. I think it's probably one where we look at and say 2-3 years time, probably be a great signing, easier signing for now. I agree, maybe someone like Martinez would have been better suited in the short term with that experience. everything. So now we're in a position with the men's goalkeeper where you could have a David De Gea situation, where it took him a couple of years to adjust, and then after 4 or 5 years, we're talking about one of the best keepers in the world. But the first year or two, he made a few mistakes. So will he adjust to the league? Apparently, he's a very good shot stopper. My issue is this is someone who wanted to come around a month ago, and we knew what the price was. So why was that not agreed to? Is the big question, knowing full well we would eventually get money in. The other thing I would suggest is obviously maybe it was impacted by some of our sales, your Anthony's, your Garnachos came in late in the window. That might have affected things, but this is where you perhaps say maybe they could have been a bit more proactive and everything. My other issue is the bomb squad, as it were. Should there be more players in that bomb squad? Onana's still here. Can look at, should Luke Shaw still be here? Players like that. I think that 5 was possibly the bare minimum, but aside from that squad, Højlund's the only one who was originally in that bomb squad who was left. So you got to look at that. Should we have been a bit more ruthless with some of the departures? That's the other thing I would say. And, we have benefited from some previous sales in previous years, your Anthony Langers, where we've got money through the door, which is helpful. I do feel that maybe we might be in a better position in terms of FFP, possibly, in regards to some of the sales and everything. So we might be in a slightly better position so long as we get European football, and that's the big issue. Only time will tell whether it's been a successful summer or not. But the critical thing is we got to make sure that we get European football one way or another at the end of the season. Have we done enough? Maybe. But you can't say definitely. But nor can you say we definitely haven't. So it's a bit up in the air in that regard, I feel.
I will create a poll in the live chat for you guys. I will make it simple. Are you happy with the transfer window? Yes or no? I just want to hear the consensus of the Man United fan base, at least our fan base, the guys who tune into the Tactical Devils. Well, I will also give the same question to Mark. What's your take on the preseason, the timing of the window? Are we spoiled if we sit here and feel disappointed after a window like this, or should we actually be happy?
That's a fully loaded way of putting it. I've listened obviously to what both you said. I've been reading the chat, like everyone responding as people are saying it. It's funny, I'm seeing someone rate the window 3 out of 10, and someone rates it a 7 out of 10. It's quite funny. We all see football in a different way. The goalkeeper, I just said on my video, when I woke up this morning, we were signing 2 goalkeepers for around 50 million, because Sancho was going to be a player exchange. Sancho just threw his toys out the pram even more, still gets what he wants, goes there on loan. We pay some of the wages, they pay some of the wages. We lose out on a Premier League proven goalkeeper. But we sign a 23-year-old. My problem with signing a 23-year-old, I've just said it on our channel, but I've said it on here before. Has anyone been watching Vitek's performances for Bristol City in the Championship?
He's been decent.
He is team of the week, 2 out of 4 weeks.
Thanks.
Absolutely unreal saves, and he's only a year younger than this goalkeeper. So we've gone and paid out money, and I'm sorry, but the Championship is the 6th best league in Europe. You've got the top 5, and that is then the Championship is up there with, some may say, in the top 5. So did we need to do it? I'm sorry, but he's not one for the future. He's someone who can actually use his hands to catch. So he has to go in against City, because what have we got to lose? But it's one hell of a baptism of fire. City, Chelsea, someone, I've gone blank, and then Liverpool. So in the next 4 matches. And that's some horrible away games in there as well. So we got players out that we all wanted out. And let's be fair, the only one we didn't get out of this bomb squad, or as I like to call it, wankers, is Tyrell Malacia. And let's be fair, it's not been his fault, is it? You know, everything that has gone on with him, that's not on him.
No.
He's tiny money as well, Mark. He doesn't earn a great deal a week, so he's tiny.
No, he doesn't. He's on low money, and he had surgery. It hasn't worked, and he's pretty much finished his career. So, you know, good luck to him. I'm no surprise he hasn't found another team. The players that come in, Jarvis, you said it. Mate, we were looking at 5 to 10 players. Well, let's be honest. We've hit the realistic figure. 5 players in a transfer window is a lot of players. Okay, Liverpool have decided that they're playing Championship Manager this year, but they've not bought anyone for the last 5 years. You know, so they had the money to spend. But in general, did we need 2 number 10s? I would have said we could have got 1. And I'm happy with who we bought? Yes. Did we need a striker? Yes. Did we need another young striker? No. Did we need a goalkeeper? Yes. Did we need a young goalkeeper? No. You know, we've got people in the positions, but they're not necessarily everyone's first choice. But I'm sorry, Ineos said last year when they came in, they don't want to be signing people over 25. You've got to take that into account of the players they're looking for. They've got a structure. They've got a wage structure. And before this window happened, we were all happy about having a structure. So I don't see why people are rating this as a bad window. The most important thing was to get the deadwood, the bad eggs out of the changing room, and we've sort of achieved that. We've got some money guaranteed to come back in. I don't think Rasmus should be sold. I like the fact they put the option. Yeah, but he's got the option to go, but we've got the option to retain him if he does bang in all the goals. You know, as a backup option. Because let's be fair, why should Napoli, AC Milan, Atalanta be looking at a Manchester United striker that scored 4 or 5 goals last year? Because they know he's got talent, you know? Sesko's now struggling. Mount's struggling. We're not getting the balls in the box for these players. So, you know, we all know we're back in the same scenarios. So the transfer window, I was rating it more on who we got out. But I do agree with the consensus of, I've just referred to it as the elephant in the midfield instead of the elephant in the room. Because I said off screen in the green room, if you like, and I'm glad Stu didn't nick it, why we've not gone in for at least a loan deal for a midfielder if we can't buy one. 4 midfielders is not enough. Kone's injured. Mount's injured. So, you know, that was 6. Kone's not even stepped foot on the pitch for Manchester United's first team yet. But he was the favourite.
All year out.
We're now left with the Fletchers and people like that. And I've just been looking at the free agent one, and I see it and I'm going, oh, he's available. Oh, fuck me, he's 35. He's available. Oh, he's 33. So you're not going to bring in these older, experienced players into the Premier League. Because I think the biggest problem we're finding is that they're finding it hard to get up to the pace. You know, it really does show the pace of our league. And there are more positives than negatives. And if you're doing a rebuild, this is where you got to start. This is the kind of start you have. But January, I don't believe we're buying a midfielder.
No, we won't bother. Not in January. You won't get
I believe if we get anything in January, guys, it will be a loan deal. Because we don't actually know where we stand with this money coming back in. Have we spent money we had, or we spent money we knew we would get back? You know, so it's a really weird transfer window. But I think it comes down to whether Amorim's got what he wanted, or whether I was going to say Ashworth. It's not Ashworth. We had the scenario with Ashworth. We were already planning different transfers, and obviously then he gets sacked, and you know we go with I don't want to say a new director of football, but you know Wilcox has come in and he's got his own views on things. We know Amorim doesn't have a veto. So I don't know. I can only say I'm seeing better things on the pitch, game on game, and that's what we have to focus on. And those are the players he brought in. Cunha's going to be a loss. If that is 6 to 8 weeks that he's out, he's been a real shining light. And me and Stu touched on it. And Burmo really, once Cunha went off and Burmo came into the game because they felt they had to get the ball to him. But Cunha's just been going and getting the ball, turning and running at people. Yeah. So I don't know.
I just want to say big up to Rich. Good to see you, Red Devil United. But Stu, with this window, and it's been a weird one because we all remember, was it Christmas, January? Sir Jim Ratcliffe said we are proclaimed to the world that we were almost going out of business, and we spent the remainder of the winter, January, February, March, sacking people, and cutting everything to the bone, soup and vegetables, and I don't know, people had to bring their own tea bags maybe and sugar, but they could get some hot water, and that was the end of it. So and I think we tried to play to the rest of the world that we were on a sell to buy basis, so we didn't want to go out too early, and we were like betting on hoping for the bomb squad or our players Garnacho to go out 50, 60 million, maybe asking for 70, maybe we would get 50 right away, and that will be the end of the window, maybe 40, 45 for Rashford. We were hoping for more money in so we could keep on the charade, and play the rest of the world, because we know it's difficult, and it's not on Ineos. This is 10 years back. It's the Glazers. It's Ed Woodward who started all this, the bullshit. The we can do everything, the Disneyland of football. So, do you think this is one of the reasons we put our money on the wrong horse again? With our strategy, if we should learn anything.
Once again, the landscape of football has completely changed over 24 hours. Alexander Isak and Wissa are great examples. They come out publicly, started crying like little children, and what happens? They get the move. Garnacho cried like a little girl for 6 weeks, gets his move. Rashford cried like a little girl. I don't want to go to Barcelona, gets his move to Barcelona. Can you see the pattern I'm going with? There is a big pattern, and it's player power. And as soon as one club, whoever that club was, made the decision to allow somebody to throw their toys at the pram, and because of the finances that are involved in it and the salaries that are involved in it, they've allowed players to call the shots. And that's what's happened to a variety of clubs this season. Liverpool themselves have just gone on there and just picked off players that are crying. Newcastle are now done the same. They were whinging about Isak, but quite happy to take Wissa. This is the way that football is. If you go back years and years and years ago into the 90s, Pierre Van Hooijdonk started chucking his toys out the pram, went on strike. We've allowed footballers to dictate to clubs for far too long, and it's not going to stop until somebody says enough's enough. And we haven't done it. We've extended, or are going to extend, Sancho's contract to 2027. That halves the PSR liability. So we are looking at ways to cut everything, because he becomes cheaper, doesn't he, straight away when you extend his contract? He becomes cheaper on the balance sheet. So the issue that you're going to have moving forward, and the issue that Ineos have had, forget the Glazers, but the issues that Ineos have had, that they have probably tried to balance the books. Look, getting rid of 250 people, not much we can do about it. We don't agree with it as fans, do we? But at the end of the day, anyone in business has to, cut the fat occasionally. It's just the way it goes. There are businesses closing down all the time because they're oversubscribed personnel-wise, and they haven't done anything about it. I'm not saying Manchester United was in that position. I think where we've gone wrong again is we just haven't been as reactive as we possibly could be. We've been slow. We've been making sure that the deal is structured correctly, that we pay the right amount of money and we get the player over the line, which is great, and it's good for us. But I think, financial fair play, you're absolutely right. Chelsea have been wheeling and dealing again. They've somehow, fuck knows how, raped Bayern Munich for 70 million quid. If we read what we've read tonight is clear, 70 million quid for Nicholas Jackson. 70 million. Just let that sink in. 120 quid for Wirtz. He's having a mare. He can't get to grips with the Premier League. It happens, and this is what's going on right now. And yet Chelsea can get 70 million for Wirtz. We can't even get 50 million for Garnacho. We can't get decent money.
That's because, like you said, players are able to drive down their own price now.
He has driven down.
Players in 2025 wouldn't even step foot in a professional league in 2005.
No, Garnacho is a great example of driving down his price. He said, Chelsea, it's the only place I'm going. Well, we should have dealt with that 6 weeks ago then. As a club, we should have dealt with it. But Chelsea, no, we're going to keep, and we're going to keep, and we're going to keep, we're going to keep. Betis and Anthony. We all knew that was going to happen, but we've been shafted. Jamie Wayne's right. We got shafted by them because they haven't got the money, but we've still been shafted by them. So
interesting. We talked about this the other. I can't remember if it was our show Saturday night or that. A player that goes on strike. Now, how did we get Anthony?
He went on strike.
Yeah,
but we don't want these players anymore. No. These players got to go.
So he went on strike, but he didn't go on strike to go to Betis. But he bought a fucking house there before the deal was done.
He did, yeah. But I think the whole of football right now was banking on Isak staying, because if Newcastle had stopped the Isak deal to Liverpool, the face of football would have changed yet again. Because clubs will know that and other players will know. I can't bow down anymore to, or clubs can't bow down anymore to me. Until we stop this, until we block that wound, and it heals, then clubs are just going to get stiffed and stiffed and stiffed. So now we're in a situation. We go in for Baleba, and we're going to have to. If we want Baleba in the summer, we're going to have to get Baleba over the line June 1st.
Yeah,
but there won't just be us. There'll be City, there'll be whoever will be coming.
Yeah, I think we've got to go in 120 in January
and do the deal. We've got to get the deal done. So we got big issues still. However, let's be honest. Whether or not we laboured past Burnley or not, it doesn't matter how you get across the line. It's as long as you win football matches. We are in a position where we're better off than Newcastle right now. We're better off than Villa right now. We're better off than City right now. The only problem that we've got with this league is that there are clubs that have maintained a level of performance from last season that we weren't expecting, notably Bournemouth, Crystal Palace and Brighton. And that is going to be a big problem for us and our ambitions of getting up the league. Because on normal occasions, we could probably count on a Palace victory, a Bournemouth victory, a West Ham victory, a Burnley victory. We could count on these. Now you can't. So you've got to make a statement, and a statement would have been: I need to put somebody in alongside Agate, and I need competition for Bruno, and I need to do something. We dealt with our wing backs to an extent.
Yeah,
not all of them. Diego Leon's not seen sight of the first team. Obi's not likely to see sight of the first team either. It's going to be really, 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 really interesting as to where we'll be when we play City. I don't think City are quite ready for us yet. They've only really added Donnarumma. Now, is he really going to make the difference in that game? I don't know. So, in answer to your question, Jarvis, player power is killing the game and will continue to kill the game until a club, whoever it may be, it needs to be a big club. It needs to be a Real Madrid, a Barcelona, a City, United, or Liverpool that says, no, you don't dictate terms to us. We dictate terms to you. And until that happens, then we're going to be in the same boat next year and the year before and the year after and the year after.
Yes. I just want to say Lammens is announced, and it's good news. But we all knew this Sene or Zen Lamance, or what's his name?
One other thing, by the way, just to add to the absurdity of football right now. An 18-year-old goes to Manchester United, signs a 60 grand a week contract, finishes his 5 years, he can go play non-league football. He's done. He's financially. There are an element of players that are now doing that. They are coming for their one big contract. Jadon Sancho is a great example. I'm coming for one big contract. He's got his big contract. He no longer has any interest in football.
No, but that's our fault.
That's everybody's fault. That's football's fault. It's not just Manchester United. That's football's fault. Look at the Liverpool lad that's going to Villa on loan. What's his name? Harvey Elliott. Fantastic footballer. Can't break into Liverpool team
because they spent 150 million on Verts.
Yeah. Phil Foden. Whether we like him or not, he's a fantastic footballer. He's not seen the light.
Look at Grealish.
He was brilliant.
Payday, and now he comes to Everton, and I've just had to put him in my FPL because anyone who can starts playing like that, he's unbelievable this season.
Yeah, he was absolutely brilliant. I saw him live on Saturday. He's fantastic. First time I've seen him play live, he was brilliant. Absolutely unbelievable. But these players, if you're smart and you've got a smart agent and you can get yourself a 6-7 year deal at 70,000, 80,000 pounds a month, then that's it. You're kind of done. And that's where we go.
What I would say is, though, regards to the signings we made, all 4 players said they wanted to come to United, and they put pressure on their clubs that they wanted to join United, but none of them went on strike, which is encouraging. So you look at Isaac going on strike, so they made it clear that they wanted to come without damaging relationships at the club they're about to leave, which is, an encouragement. And we have been battling this uphill battle, trying to get respect in the market. And I hope that maybe this summer we've, I wouldn't say we've overspent on play. Maybe some we might have paid a bit extra than what they're worth, but not massively over the top compared to previously. I think also with regards to Anthony, for example, I don't think that's a deal either side will be particularly happy with. It's probably
it's a 50% sell on, so whatever they sell him, so there's more money to come our way.
So if they sell him for 40 in 2-3 years' time, we'll get 30 million, which is what we're asking for, including what we're going to get this transfer. And I don't think Betis probably wanted to spend that. So in the end, it's a deal probably both sides don't want. But the flip side is, in terms of being proactive, if we accepted that Saudi money for Bruno, you'd probably get a midfielder in or 2.
Yeah,
that's the flip side of it.
I've looked at our transfers a slightly different way because the money we've spent seems to be very close to the money of the deals with Coca-Cola and people like that. So have we just spent the money that they've got in from that? 70 million for Coca-Cola. I can't even remember what the next one was, but you think what we're spending out, is this the money that's paying for that? Are we had no money and our sponsorship deals what we had to go and get, and then instantly we're signing players after those deals have been announced?
I do wonder whether we're going to get, there's going to be a big reveal, like a new sponsorship coming in.
We've only revealed the 2, haven't we? We're still waiting on that third one.
The third one, or whether there's going to be something to do with the ownership in regards to whether there'll be announcements towards the end of the year in regards to funding the new stadium maybe, or something like that. So it'll be interesting to see that possibly we might have something coming down the line in that regard, I think.
I have another question lined up, and I see we are a little bit split. Are you happy with the window? It's 46% yes and 54% no. It's almost 100 votes. So I think we feel it's a little bit on the negative side. if you should rate it from that one, it's probably a 4.5 out of 10 from you guys. But we will do a rating of the window. But I just want to ask this question when it comes to the process, because I think we all understood after the Europa League final when we lost, we had no Europe, money was going to be difficult. We were hoping for 10 players, but where was the realism in 10 players in? And we know that a lot of these players are on high wages, long contracts. Casemiro, Luke Shaw, players that we would have sold if possible. But some of these players are untouchable. They will stay, and it will cost whatever it takes. And who would have thought that we would have gotten rid of Rashford and Sancho and
exactly
players on high wages. So in a way, if you look at the process, are we rushing the process? Because maybe Ineos's plan is not. Someone has mentioned 2028. I think it was Berada. And we are going into 2025-26 season right now. And in 2 years' time, do you think we feel more happy about this? We have signed a lot of young players. A lot of we have the wage bill is down. We have signed talented players. Is this just us being ungrateful, doesn't understand what we actually are doing? Anyone?
The problem you've got, as I said before, that the whole league has completely changed. It's a different league than what it was 5 years ago in terms of the way that teams have an ability to bounce back, have an ability to beat everybody. It's coming almost like a championship kind of league where teams can just go in and win. Brighton beat City. All right, City weren't great, but Brighton still beat them there. Their second goal, their winning goal, was outstanding. I mean, I'll probably go down as one of the best goals this season. It was brilliant. Szoboszlai's free kick against Arsenal. All right, he's done it once or twice before, but he hasn't done it in the Premier League before. So it's one of those games. This is what happens with football. We've used the boxing analogy before. You get one right uppercut, bang, you're sent to sleep. You might have been dominating your opponent, but he's caught you and you're done. So I'm not really sure we've got that time to develop, because Liverpool were already a distance away from us in terms of their ability to win games, grind out results. And the players that they've added is going to really, really improve Liverpool. They're going to take some beating. City, Cherky injured. As I say, Donnarumma is going to make a big, big difference for them.
He doesn't fit their style of play. That's a stupid transfer in my eyes. For that, they get rid of Trafford because he made a bad pass, one bad pass, and Donnarumma's shit with his feet.
Yeah, I know, but will it guarantee him 12 games points a season? Probably, because he's a superb goalkeeper. And this is the question we've got to ask ourselves about Lamans. Can Lamans gain us 12 points this season? I don't know. I've got my doubts. I don't know enough about the guy.
Well, more, can he catch a ball from a corner? Because that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
Again, we don't know. Well, time will tell on that one. And so with the league being where it is at the moment, I don't think we've got 2 years, Jarvis, in answer to your question, pal. I think by the time 2 years comes, I think we're going to need another 2 years. You've got to do what you can to claw 90% back of your deficit in one hit, and we haven't clawed it back. We've maybe clawed 50% of the deficit back. Now, time will tell where we end up. This, but the next 4 games are going to be absolutely pivotal to our season. The Liverpool-Arsenal game was woeful, but Szoboszlai makes the difference. Arsenal should have scored 2 or 3 themselves. Szoboszlai makes a difference.
Ironic that was a set piece, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, everyone said that. Yeah, the irony of it. But he made the difference. Palace went ahead and I can't remember who they played now, but an easy 3-0. Easy 3-0 result for them. West Ham suddenly came alive, 3-0. Sunderland won twice already this season. Villa, look where Villa were last season to where they are today. They're sitting on 1 point. Wolves got no points, and Wolves weren't that bad. against Everton. Everton were decent. This was the season where we had to make the statement. If we finish where I hope we finish, Jarvis, and that's 5th on 66, because it's going to be, I'll tell you, the champion this year won't get, I don't think he'll get over 90 points again. I think it'll be so tight in terms of teams taking points off each other. Really like the championship, it'll be so tight. We have got to be in the mix, and we've got to be in the mix early doors.
So the thing is, I see this, Stu, everything you said makes perfect sense, right? How do you catch up when everyone else is still constantly spending money, right? You can't. Yeah. You can't catch up in the players market. But what we need to catch up before we catch up the players is we need to have a working system. So the reason that the league has become so tight, shall we say, and we're all fighting it out for the European places pretty much from like us at 15th to the top 8. Well, we might have been 15th, but what was the actual points gap? It was like 10 points.
Well, there wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't a huge amount. Yeah,
right?
It wasn't a huge amount.
It literally saying a win here and a draw there, and you've moved quite a few places up. But what you alluded to is Brentford have been brilliant, not because of the players they had. Yes, we've signed in Burmo, but the tactical, how well drilled they are, how they work for each other. That's a mentality issue. That is a standards issue. So we might want to return in 1 to 2 years. And I see this all the time through coaching. When you're playing in like county league and low levels, players can just go in 7 days, right? So you can lose a team that quick.
You love 7 days,
And it normally happens after the FA Cup matches. So once you're out the FA Cup, teams move, they go to a bigger, better team. Right? Yes, you're cup tied, but you just go and look for a bigger contract. But the system is what is important. And Amorim is making it very clear that certain players do not know how to play the system. So he has to be very careful in who he brings in. Now, this is my fear with Wilcox. They need to be on the same page. Wilcox needs to understand exactly what he wants, because if they're not going to let the manager buy the players, that's why we want 120 million for Belieber. Well, if we sign 120 million on Belieber, don't expect us to sign anyone else in that transfer window, because the down payment is going to be twice as much as what we're paying on anyone else. And that affects your transfer window. So 2 years is a minimum for a rebuild. But because our fan base, and I'm seeing it a lot in the chat, it's like, oh, we're done, we can't do this. Are you really expecting Man United to go out and spend $1 billion to rebuild a team in one thing and then gel them together so they all know how they're playing? They don't just go out and know exactly how to play together as a team. That's what happened with Grimsby. We didn't play well as a team. The team beat us. The best players lost. And that seems to be our biggest problem is we're split down the middle. We have to know that we play 4-3-3. We play 3-5-2. Whatever the system is, we have to stick with it, and we have to go through the hard times. Otherwise, it's never going to work. If we're buying players for wing backs now and we sack someone and bring them in, how many managers play wing backs? Few and far between.
Yeah. So Wolves play with wing back. West Ham. Bournemouth.
No, but I mean, in general, most people play 4-3-3 in world football now, because apparently that's the must-have system to play, right? Where, I'm sorry, but 5 in midfield has been a thing since 4-4-2. It was the one thing that destroyed the 4-4-2, because it was like, oh shit, they got an extra player in midfield. They just played one up top. 5 in midfield is what I'm talking about. But if we start buying certain players, we can change manager, but it makes it very hard and puts you further back to the beginning.
Yeah.
The only way you make forward steps is to stop making the backwards movements in sacking the manager.
But this comes down to modernism in football again. It's my biggest fucking bugbear.
Well, absolutely.
You buy a player, an elite footballer should be able to fit a system. I don't care where they're from. Because I'll tell you, here's the thing about, let me tell you something about elite footballers. Let me tell you something about footballers in general, because I can do this from experience. I have played in a 4-4-2 system. I have played in a 3-5-2 system, a 4-3-3 system, and a 4-3-2-1 system. I've played in those systems. I know what I'm doing in those systems because it isn't fucking rocket science. It never has been, and it never will be. And anyone that comes to me and says, "Oh, he's a fucking wing back only," bollocks. Dorgu could play left back tomorrow.
Yep.
He really could. This is why Martinez, when Jarvis talks about Mbeumo at right wing back, he can do it. Martinez can play left wing back. He can do it. No, he can't. Why not? Because he's not quick enough. What's that got to do with it? He's got a brain. He can position himself at the right time and the right thing. Exactly the same with KB Mainu. Can't tackle, can't run, can't pass. Yes, he can. He can tackle, he can run, and he can pass. Because if you're playing as a 10, guess what? You've got to run, you've got to pass, and you've got to tackle. All this happens in football. It really does. And that's what grinds my fucking gears. Saturday afternoon, okay, the gaffer could turn around to me, Stu, I need you as a 9. Will you go up there and do it? Absolutely. Will I be any good? Probably not. But will I know what I'm doing? Absolutely. I'll know exactly how to play the system and a 9 because it doesn't matter. As long as you're in 9, where you position yourself.
That's the punch to it. So they need to learn the system. And they're clearly not knowing this system because we're hitting long balls into corners and going, we're going to keep the ball then, are we? We've just isolated a player up the other end of the pitch.
Are they dumb? Because it just, honestly, Mark, it just whines. It gets my goat.
Do you think they're playing his system? When he's turning around and saying, pretty much in the thing, saying they're not doing as I tell them.
To be brutally honest with you, I think our players for the last 5 years, 6 years, 7 years haven't given a fuck about whether they play for Manchester United or not. They're more worried about their bank balance.
Yeah,
whereas you look at Mbeumo, you look at Cunha, you look at certain players, Martinez, De Ligt, they want to be on that football pitch. That's what they actually want to do. They can't wait for a Saturday afternoon or a Wednesday evening.
But that's what we thought, isn't it? That's your Mbeumo. Yeah. That's your Cunha. That's going to be your Lament. That's your Diego Leon.
Yeah,
they want to play for Man United.
I get goosebumps thinking about it when I can't wait for this weekend for myself. Cannot wait, and I've always felt that way about. I cannot wait to do it now. It's just for me. And you are right, Mark, and you make a great point. And Jarvis has made the point before, so has Johnny K. But I cannot, as footballers, all of us here and everybody in the chat, the Devilish Tacticos, as footballers, it must wind you fucking up so much when you see I can't do that. The gaffer's not told me. Fucking get in there, grab him, put him where you want him to put him. Because when I was a 16-year-old. I was grabbed and pushed into position if I was wandering. I was pulled back. I need you fucking there. Stay there. But you don't do it. There's no Anyway, I need to relax.
You make a valid point, and I like to hear what Johnny has to say because
Sorry, John.
I'm saying players don't come in. The players don't come in and learn. They come in and they take away. They come in and they look for their stats. If what you say is right, anyone can play in any position because at the end of the day, you have a left foot and a right foot and you kick the ball with it, right? And you play within a 100-yard pitch and that's all you've got to do. So are they choosing not to listen? Are they choosing not to do it? Or are they just dumb? And let's be fair, some of the goals we concede and people being out of position, they have to be idiots to be that far out of position, right? They just don't know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
But on the flip side of that, why would we ever need to make any transfers if anyone can play in any position? Do you see what I mean? It is about, I've got to get someone in because the fans want people in.
It's a good question. Yeah, it's a good question. That. And we know there are levels, don't we, in football? There are levels. Yeah. When you were playing in the academies and that, you'd have one player that could cross and find you 5 out of 10 times.
What happens when he's injured?
Yeah, you get another one who can do it maybe 2 or 3 times. Wolves on Saturday, I don't know if any of you saw Wolves' 2 goals. It was just hitting hope crosses, but the crosses were fucking brilliant.
Almost came backwards. It had that much whip on it behind it.
Yeah, that was the first goal.
That was unbelievable.
2 brilliant crosses just from deep, Jarvis and Johnny. And the striker, bang, bang, absolutely brilliant the way they did it. I can't remember the last time we did that. We're talking bottom of the table Wolves here. I just. Yeah. But all I was getting at is you're talking levels, aren't you? With some players, there are some players that got it, and there are some players that haven't. I just want to see us.
Our system's screaming out for Frimpong. I wanted to sign him last year for his buyout clause of 35 million. We didn't go and get him. We had the money. There's no reason we couldn't have got him. And he was, from Manchester. He's from the same estate as Rashford's parents, and that. There's no reason we couldn't have got him. And he would be perfect for Amorim. And we didn't do this.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Next question. I will let John and Kay start with that, but I want to talk more about Amorim and the window so far. We are a little bit 50-50. The fan base is split, and we are not like super excited, but we are not super disappointed either because of the window. Yeah. But Amorim had a tough start for the first 6 months of his spell, and not getting proper backing. Is it enough to keep him in the job, or could we actually see that Amorim will be sacked during this season? And because I think we will have another tough season. I'm pretty sure this will be a tough season. I'm not 100% agreeing with Stu when he says we will come in fifth. I don't see it at the current moment. I've seen enough in the preseason games and the first couple of games. I know we can play good football. We did against Arsenal, but we can also play crap football as we did against Grimsby. And I think that's our level. So around 10 plus minus 1 or 2 places, I think that will be my expected outcome of the season. And is that enough for Amorim to survive?
Right. So basically, will Amorim survive? Ultimately, I think prior to the Burnley game, it was almost like the writing was on the wall, wasn't it? And everything. And he was saying he got emotional after the game, and he started saying things which called into question whether he would resign. I think it just depends, because I think with that Burnley result now, we have had results on the previous managers where they've won and it's put off the inevitable, and that might still be the case. The alternative is we've been desperate for a win for a long time. You get your first win, and sometimes you get one, it soon's become 3, 4, or 5. So it just depends on how you react. I think we'll learn a lot from the derby. We're above City. How will we do in the derby? Suppose we won that last season. But I've always said with Amorim this season that if he is to remain, that it's not necessarily how he does against the big teams. Last season, our performances, if not always the results, were decent against the big teams. The problem was against the lesser teams that you compete in Europe for, your Brightons, your Bournemouths, your Wolves, your West Hams, those teams are the ones where you have to call into question how are we capable of winning those games? Because if we're looking at potentially getting into Europe in spot, if you think about the traditional top 6, you play 10 games out of 38 against them in a season. And so that means you face 28 against every other team in the league. So what do you need to do in those games in order to get into Europe? For me, you got to be winning more than half of those games. You probably need to be looking at winning at least 18, possibly. I think if you want to get into Europe, you got to try and aim to get minimum 20, 21 wins, I think, and then possibly 7 or 8 draws. If you get 21 wins, 7 draws, that's about 70 points. That will definitely get you into Europe. So I think it's based on how he does in those big games. And, we did scrape a win against Burnley. Fulham, we drew. Well, if we can get 4 points from City and Chelsea, that'll be a bonus. But then you play Brentford, then you play Sunderland. How will you do in those games? That's where you'll assess. I personally think he will hang around at least for a couple of months, probably. I don't personally think it'll work. I don't think that because I don't know what his contract is, but I'm sure there's millions of reasons why financially why he wouldn't work. But for me, I think hang around a bit. But in my opinion, I think he obviously needs to get some wins. The jury's out. I personally think at this moment it's hard to see whether he will still be in job by Christmas or by New Season. I will personally, unless results continue, I would like to see where we are around Christmas. If we're around the European places, then I'll probably give him till the end of the season. If we're full 10 points behind European places at Christmas, then you got to call into question. So for me, I don't know. I think it's interesting to see where we'll end up, but we're in 9th place at the moment. It's not been a great start, but there have been teams who we're competing with who've had worse starts than us. So you're above City. If you go there and get a win, you're 4 points ahead of them. So, this early, that's a gap. So you got to try and stay positive, get a couple of wins under your belt, and then hopefully that will breed a bit of momentum, which we desperately need.
Anyone else want to give the verdict prediction on Amorim? Is this enough for him to survive?
Jarvis, you can't sack him, pal. You just cannot sack him. What is the point? I don't get the point in sacking him, because you're going to have to go for somebody like Glasner. You're going to have to go for somebody like Areola or whatever. And we're then in a situation of, well, I don't want him. I don't want him. I don't want him. I think if we keep sacking managers, we're just not going to get anywhere. We're not going to grow as a club. And we're going to have to stick by him. I'm sorry to say, we've got to stick by him. We've got to bite the bullet and stick by a manager at some point. And if the players, and this again, I'm not going to go on a rant this time, but I could. But if the players, and he's always lost the dressing room, well, fuck off then. Just go to fucking Saudi Arabia, because if I'd lost the dressing room, I'd kick you all out the fucking dressing room. And I'd just bring the youth in. You've got to make a stand. You allow players to dictate. You allow players to do this. You allow players to do that. You then get the boot. What is the fucking point? We have sacked a manager every 3 years, apart from Moyes, who went after 10 months. We've sacked a manager every 3 years since. 2 years, Mourinho was 2.5, wasn't he? Ten Hag, 2.5. I know Ten Hag got sacked and Ollie got sacked and Mourinho got sacked. Oh, that's quite funny. I shouldn't laugh. Quite funny. I know that's weird, but all these managers, right, are successful till they come to Manchester United. So it's not the manager that's the problem. It is the culture, the players, and the board. I just cannot get my fucking head around it. So there comes a time where you got to say no. And if I'm, the board have got to hold the nerve with him. Unless you can get Glasner, but there's no way that we know that Glasner's going to do well. There's no way that we know that Areola will do well. There's no way we will do even Ancelotti will do well, because look at the types of managers we've had. Okay, Louis van Gaal, very successful. Jose Mourinho, very successful. Ten Hag was very successful, whether we like it or not, at Ajax. Amorim, very successful at Sporting. Whether we like it or not, these managers have been a success elsewhere. Okay? And if we do it again, and if we're 10 points off, because I think, by the way, Johnny, mid-60s will get European football this year. Well, I think it'll be mid-60s will get us European. Okay. If you don't hold your nerve, if we're talking about the same thing in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, Glasner, wow, brilliant. He was great for a season. Then what's happened to him? He's gone to obscurity. Areola, we know he's a brilliant manager. We do. Thomas Frank, we know all these guys are great managers, but when you walk through the doors at Old Trafford, you just don't do it. I mean, somebody made a brilliant point, actually. I think it was V. that he thinks that anxiety will stop Bruno succeeding, and he's probably right because he's super emotional after Grimsby. And he needs his 2 weeks off. He needs to take a week off, go back to Portugal and rest, and take a week off, then come back. And so I think he's a really, really good point. But we've got to stick by him. In my opinion, we have to stick by, because I tell you something for nothing. If you move him out, we ain't seeing the title in 2028. Forget it.
I think also, Stu, I mentioned about European football. If you look at top 5, if 5th place is going to be a Champions League spot, I think in the past, the top 4 used to get 72 points getting the Champions League. With that 5th place, it's been more around 68 points. So
I will get it. Mid-60s will get it. Yeah. Mid-60s will get us Europe. And to be honest, I think we'll get to Europe.
I personally think if you win 21 games, so that's just over half of your matches, you'll more than likely get Champions League football. Probably.
I don't think we'll get Champions League football. Well, actually,
I'm not sure we will, but you'll certainly get European football. If you win half your match, you'll definitely get some kind of European football, I think.
This is where you've got to. This is where now you've got to make that march. You've got to make strides into it. The early part of the season is always quite critical. It doesn't win you the league. It doesn't get you relegated, but it's always quite critical as to where you are. Now, luckily, at this point in time, there's only 1 or 2 clubs that are kind of trying to gap people. Nobody else is doing it. Everyone else is tripping over each other. And that's my point. Teams are going to trip over each other this season, with Bournemouth, with, Sunderland might, who's to say Sunderland don't go and surprise people? By the time we come to play Sunderland, they might be on 20 points. We wouldn't have thought that.
They did say something about they have the best start. The first 6 fixtures are all.
Yeah, we've said before.
So
we've said before, haven't we, that Sunderland will definitely go down. Every one of us would have said, Sunderland 100% gone, Burnley 100% gone. Burnley are a decent outfit. They're a decent outfit. They're okay. These teams know how to defend now. They defend better. They cluster on the pitch better. They strangle you better. Can
I just jump in here, because it's a perfect chance to do it, because you just mentioned the whole strangling us. We all seem to forget when every team plays Man United, it's their cup final. Always has been, always will be. Walking out at Old Trafford, can we beat them at Old Trafford? It's a must-win game. Everyone wants to beat Man United. Everyone wants to make Manchester United look stupid. It used to be Liverpool in the 80s, and then it swapped from in the 80s and 90s to Man United since that. Everyone goes out. Until we get a team that is more up for it than the other team, you don't win games. But when the season started, I'm sorry, I know, Stu, you had us down to beat Arsenal. Obviously, you were wrong. I wanted us to beat Arsenal, thought we were capable of doing it, and I was right, and it didn't happen, right? So I'm sorry, but we're not beating up Man City. We're not beating Liverpool. We're not beating Chelsea, because we've got to be mad to finish in 15th and expect to be beating the top 4 the following season, hands down, right?
But we took 4 points off City last season.
No, but I mean, in general, not take the names away from it. If you're in 15th, you don't expect to beat the top teams.
No.
It's possible. And when you do something like that, that's the mentality thing. That you question the players going, why are you upping yourself against the best players, but you can't up yourself? This happened to Liverpool under Klopp, and it's in the first few years when he was rebuilding. They were beating all the good teams, and then they'd go out the next weekend and lose to relegation fodder. We are that team currently. Everyone seems to think that we're just going to go from 15th to top 4. Stu, I agree with you. 5th is an open opportunity, but the Premier League is becoming so hard. Those European places is now, it's not top 4 teams, it is top 2 maybe, and everyone else fighting for a European slot. Look at how the season finished. It came to almost goal difference to who was getting what European place.
Well, wasn't it that if actually us beating Villa on the last day.
We came to us.
Newcastle got Champions League football. If Villa drawn that, they would have got the place. Yeah.
But I did it in my, well, I'll say a 5-minute rant. I'm saying you can't sack the manager. You keep sacking the manager, you go back to square one, and you're expecting that square one to be, well, it's like playing a board game and making sure every time I've been sent back on snakes and ladders, it's all right, I'm going to roll a 6 until I get to the top. Every go, roll a 6, roll a 6, roll a 6. It doesn't happen in football. And it's disrespectful to every other team that steps onto the pitch with us. You know, we are not some superpower currently. We are financially, in name, but we've got to back it up. And we don't back anything up. And that's why you have to stick with the manager. As Stu said, too many managers are being sacked. Too many people coming in and out of the club. But we're not selling players. We only ever bring players in. This is the first time we've started getting players out in how many years? It's probably the most outgoings we've had with loans and sales and players released. I think it's almost 10 players in total have left the club. It's from the end of last season. So it's a rebuild. This is a proper rebuild. And I think it was Catherine who's put in there, but it is bad news when Stu is agreeing with Marcus Rashford about how the rebuild of this club was going. We can't just keep replacing. Why are we even talking about sacking Amorim when we've got the top 4 in our first 10 matches?
Well, the question was simply, do you think it will survive the season because it didn't get the proper backing? We came in 15th. We went on a losing streak. Couldn't turn it around, and as you said, a lot of players are not suited for this system, and they are still not. Luke Shaw is not fitted. Casemiro is not fitted for this system. We have a lot of players who's not suited for this Amorim system, and this is where I think he will struggle. And we know the fan base, we know the club. They will turn on Amorim. They would rather throw Amorim to the wolves than go themselves. We are talking about the Glazers and Ineos.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to put a sense in there, Jarvis. I'm trying to say, if you want your midfielder and you wanted a believer, then you don't sign Sesko or you don't sign Cunha or you don't sign Mbeumo. Which one are you sacrificing to get your midfielder? We've signed players, but that money's got to come from somewhere. It's not a bottomless pit.
So Nordin, you're listening to the debate. What's your take?
I give the transfer window 4 out of 4.5, only because of Cunha and Mbeumo. And I think the propaganda is such. This club is so good at propaganda that we all get excited, but we don't understand that football is not 2 against 2. Football is 11 against 11. We finished 15th because of this manager. They bought him in. You know the story. They don't have to repeat it. They bought him in against his own will. They bought him in that time. They didn't back him in January. They actually took players away from him in January, and he agreed to it for some stupid reason. Goals and assists, regardless how bad Rashford and Anthony, they would have at least got a bit of goals and assists, maybe, to help us. But they didn't. We finished 15th. And majority of us said we needed 7 players, 5 in the starting lineup, if this coach has got any chance of succeeding at this football club. And unfortunately, they bought 2 players. Lamens is a young guy, even though Manchester United scouted him for a whole season. He's 23 years old. I think I'm better than Unana. I think I can catch the ball better than Unana and Bayern. And that's saying a flipping a lot. That is saying a lot. But I think he can't be worse than them 2. I'm putting it out there to the universe. God knows. But I don't think he's worse than them. I think the belabor thing was to call off the protest, and it worked. That's why so many people were like, "Oh, we're getting Belabor 1958. Why are you organized?" Remember when that time it happened. So well played from the Glazers and Ineos for postponing the protest after telling us all, "Oh, team unity, team this." You know, we were so bombarded with the atmosphere, the bomb squad. It's all on the bomb squad. Things like this is not black and white usually, right? I mean, Paul Malacia, he gets to the bomb side and he hasn't got a club.
No.
He hasn't got a club. He's in the bomb squad. He hasn't got... All his fault was that being friends with Rashford. And maybe he didn't trust the medical department. I wouldn't trust the medical department.
I wouldn't trust the medical department. Yeah.
So he's done that. That's what he's guilty of.
He's training a non-league ground as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
he'll get
exactly.
he'll get a move to Saudi. He will. I think he'll go to Saudi.
Or Turkey. Or Turkey.
Yeah, he'll go to Saudi or Turkey. Yeah.
Although Greece is still open though.
Marcus Rashford, maybe Anthony Martial link up. You never know. But the big thing for me is that all of us have known the midfield is glaring to see. And this is why I know we're not a football club, but we're a brand. I don't know if you've seen the list, Jarvis, of our midfield we've bought in the last since Fergie's gone. The midfield we've bought. I don't know if you saw that list. It's embarrassing. And you know, most of you understand and know about English football. Mason, most football in the world is about how good your midfield is, especially in a league that's physical and as demanding as this league. And for me, Stu, Mark, all due respect, you guys have no say. Ineos have sacked Amorim already. He's in
not buying a midfielder,
deep trouble. I went to the game on Saturday. I don't know if you went, Stu, but I went to the game on Saturday.
My boy was there, yeah. My lad was there,
yeah. For 10 minutes after the second half, they took a bit of control in midfield.
Yeah.
And in that 10 minutes, they were at our back four. I mean, back three, back five, whatever you want to call it. Straight up.
Whatever.
And the goal showed it. Bruno Fernandes is pointing. Did you see that? Obviously, it was the mix-up between the lid. It was the lid. And then Luke Shaw. Mr. Luke Shaw is sleeping in the middle. Yeah. And then Diego Dalot react. And you see Diego Dalot actually arguing as he's trying to close down the player. Doing all of this BS. And then they whip the ball into the center. Luke Shaw is supposed to be the spare guy. He's supposed to be the guy who's there to actually stay with the runner. And he loses it.
He does.
And then, boom, they score. We get bullied. Nobody. The guy, Casemiro, the throwing, the guy's in front. And I'm like, where's the front guy? Where's somebody at the back of him? He runs around Casemiro, flips it on. And once you win the first header in a set piece, you're in trouble. So at the end of the day, for me, that showed me everything. And this is newly promoted Burnley. I repeat, newly promoted Burnley. We knew what Fulham did to us in terms of in the midfield. The gimmick of Casemiro and Bruno, it's not working. Cunha is injured, and people think we're not going to get any injuries. So in this miraculous Ineos Glazer fantasy, we're not going to get any injuries. Already Mount and already Cunha is injured. And then we've let go of the only kid at the football club that had any legs to get around on the football pitch. That actually, if you wanted to protect the lead, that can actually get about people. And what does that tell you? That tells me that Amorim expected a midfielder to come in. That's why he sanctioned Collier to go on loan.
Yeah, he went to Albion, didn't he, Collier? Good move for him. Because Albion are playing well. Good move for him.
At the end of the day, we can say all you want about Amorim. He is dead and walking. He is. And everybody knows it. Because that midfield will get exposed again and again and again. And you can have all the best strikers in world football. You can have the best number 10s, all of this. If you're soft in the middle, if you're easy to get through and play through, watch that goal again on the weekend. I think it was 3 passes and the ball was at the back of the net.
What, the first one?
No, the striker when he taps it in.
The striker when he pushed it in.
Yeah, and I think it was 4 touches with him striking it. At the end of the day, for me, I think Manchester United needed 2 goalkeepers. It doesn't have to be somebody amazing. Lemons could have come in, but they needed to make sure Unana got out and Bayendia got out.
But no, they did. They tried that, and Sancho screwed us again by basically going on loan. They wanted to do a player swap for Martinez. That's already been confirmed by Austin. Sancho's Aston Villa move. They were like, we'll take Martinez, you take Sancho, no money thingy. And Sancho said no, he only wants a loan because he wants money.
Well, there you go.
because they weren't going to cover his wages.
Well, players players are still controlling what clubs do. You do what you need to do for the club, regardless what the player says. At the end of the day, we've made about £90 million in the transfer window for all of the different sales, and Anthony for 5 million and selling for 21. I think it's 21 million. I think it is.
It's 25 euros, isn't it?
25 million euros, wasn't it? It's about 21, something like that.
Yeah, it's laughable. So for me, the midfield is glaring to see, and Ineos and Glazers have said no. For me, that was the way. And I'll remind you guys, please check out the article that came out about 4 months ago, where almost, according to reports, Wilcox was distancing himself from Amorim. He was distancing himself from Amorim.
Yeah, I read that.
The day, it's there for everybody to see. And do not be shocked. Do not be surprised if it's not gone by January. Because I don't see it. In my head, I don't see what he's going to do, what magical things he's going to do. You look at the attributes of Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro. You look at Kobe and Ugarte. Even if you want to 4-3-3, I think it's hard to pick a three that are not going to get injured. And then who are you going to play then? Youngster from Kone. You're going to bring Kone into the team. Who you're not giving a minute to. Yeah, you've not given a minute to. Yeah, you're not giving a minute to in preseason. So at the end of the day, I just see it. And people can think I'm pessimistic, but I predicted a lot of things. You can ask Jarvis.
Yeah, you did.
I call it as I see it. I don't disagree. But my eyes didn't lie to me what I saw on Saturday. I genuinely went there specifically to see what I needed to see. And
but we don't have the conclusion yet. We don't know how the season will end. We can assume, but what counts in our favor is we have no Europe, so we will have fresh legs every week. We will play a lot less games than all the other top 7, top 8 teams. So maybe Amorim can coach himself out of this. He will have time to do the drills. Maybe we will see something come good out of this. But right now I agree with you, Noradin, but I want to take around the table. First of all, I want you to rate the window, outgoings and ingoings, and I want you to give a prediction how you believe United will end up at the end of the season. You have done so already, but now we know all the signings, so I think now it's fair to give an assessment. And Stu, you are allowed to go back on your previous predictions.
No, you know me.
Okay.
I'm saying we finished on 66. Whether that gets us 5th or 6th, but we'll get 66 points. In terms of our window, I said it before and I'll say it again. It's about 4 out of 10 for me. I'm happy with what's gone out, but I'm not happy with what's come in. Obviously, Cunha and Mbumo, brilliant. Sesko, Jarvis, Nuruddin, you both know I wasn't a fan. You both know I wasn't a fan. You both know I would take Nosham in all day long, proven goal scorer. Lamens, again, I'd have had Martinez. And I know people have been chucking clips about all day about Martinez has done this, Martinez has done that, but he can take a cross. We all know we can take a cross. And everyone on this panel knows 100% Martinez doesn't concede that goal against Arsenal the way that Bayern did. But we've got Lamens, so we're going to have to see how it goes. In terms of we'll finish. Yeah, I do. I still think we'll get up there. I still think we've got enough. We are going to pick up injuries, and we don't have the players to come in. You're absolutely right, Nuruddin. Mark and Johnny Kerr said exactly the same. We don't have the players that are going to come in at that level. So we're going to make sure that whatever happens, we get these players back quickly. But we are going to have Martinez to come back around October, November time. I would have kept him out, to be honest, till January with his knees, but I think we're going to need him back sooner. Well, this is where
Luke Shaw, left-sided centre-back, so we can keep him out.
This is where I think, though, you're going to see a slightly different tact with Mr. Martinez. I think you're going to start seeing him utilised better, not specifically in the back three, but maybe
stepping forward like in the Euro does.
As a holding player, maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying I think that could happen. better than Agate right now, and certainly better than Casemiro right now. Just to maybe shore up. I don't know, but I can see certain things. If it was me, if it was really down to me, I'd abandon the 3-4-3 and I'd go 3-5-2. I would play a 3-5-2. I've said it before, Jarvis. I'll tell you this, and that's what I would do. I would play a 3-5-2, and by that I would integrate Mainu, and I would integrate Bruno together. Then you would have to make a decision on what you do with Ahmad, because we know that Cunha will come in, and we know that Cunha can play, can run the box to box, and we know that Mbeumo can run the box to box. So you've got absolute quality in there, but you have to make a decision on what you do up top. Now, Højlund goes, you can't play Højlund. Sesko and another. Who was that? You could play Cunha up there with him, you could play Bruno up there with him, and you can play Mbeumo up there.
Play Mbeumo because he played up that in that position for Brentford, wouldn't he?
Yeah, we've got the manpower to be able to do it, but I know what Norrin's going to say, and you're all going to turn around and point one thing to me: we don't have the depth to play that system, and that's where I do agree with you, 100%. You're all 100% right with that. We haven't got the depth to play that, but it's the best system to suit our players. But I am going to go back and say that any footballer that cannot fucking adapt to any system shouldn't be a footballer anyway. They just shouldn't. Not at that fucking level. Because was I not mistaken? Did my eyes not deceive me on Sunday when Mr. Sobersley, pushes in at right back? Right fucking back. Okay? The guy's a brilliant central midfield player, but he played at right back, and he was brilliant because he's a footballer who understands the game and wants to play. And that's got fuck all to do with system. Nothing whatsoever to do with system. That is a talented footballer playing in an out of position because he said, yes, Gaffer, where do you want me? Superb, Gaffer, no problem, leave it with me. And off he trots. And we don't have that. We don't seem to do that. So we do have players. We've got Mazzari coming back. It was great to see, wasn't it? Neredin Mazzari come back on the weekend. We've got these players. Whether we like it or not, I didn't agree with Dallo at left back, but he was superb for the Mbeumo goal. You know, you've got to give him credit there. But we need to be doing this on a regular basis. So for me, 4 out of 10 window, but we still finish on 66 points. Whether that's 5th or 6th, I don't know. But I think we'll do better this year. But anyway, that's my prediction.
Okay, yeah. Fair enough. Let's do a round around the table, Mark.
I think I said 69 points. Maybe a little tongue-in-cheek, but no pun intended there either. But
was that around the time when we tried to sign Baleba? I think, we all felt giddy for
we
a
said
weekend.
We need to bring in a keeper. We were looking at Martinez being the number one and things like that. So the fact is, we're all going to say the same thing. I've called it the elephant in midfield, the black hole, whatever you want to call it in midfield. The midfield is a problem. And you don't need to be live at the game, Norden. You can. I watched the game on TV live. I watched the whole thing. And you can see how they're targeting it. And Stu's right. It's not about position. It's about smarts. Roy Keane says it all the time. Well, why don't you just know to drop back in and make it solid for 10 minutes? But then we can flip that. We scored within 30 seconds of their goal or whatever it was. It felt like 30 seconds. So they should have done the same. That, it's football. Not everyone thinks that way. They think about going and getting the next goal, and they only think about playing forward. I think Amorim is onto something with his tactics, and I think players are choosing to do what they want to do. They're choosing to not give the ball to certain players. I'm seeing that a lot in when we run through video clips. There's a clear look, and then he doesn't play the pass that way, or someone doesn't make the run because they're worried about going offside. But Stu knows the worst thing you can have is someone make a run in behind you, go offside, because it's still going to pull the defender. But we're making basic mistakes. I'm seeing Luke Shaw trying to swap mid defending. You don't swap until the ball's out of play. So they just seem bloody stupid. So I think somewhere around Conference League if we're lucky, but it's the injuries. Like you said, we've lost Cunha now. He's been the shining light so far. You get injuries, you're screwed. But you can say that about Arsenal. They've just lost. Okay, Odegaard wasn't as bad as they thought, but they've just lost Saka again, and now Saliba. Saliba probably, I'd say 50-50 to being best defense centre back in the league. Saka probably one of the best right wingers in the league.
But they got a bit of depth now with Esse.
They got a bit of depth, you know. But we don't have the depth, and that's why we keep spending. People going on about spending 200 million. 200 million is fucking peanuts in the Premier League. It's nothing. It's two decent players. It's over 200 million. So I don't know. It's a hard one. I think our season, one game a week, it worked for Chelsea. It got us up there. But injuries is going to be key. And funny enough, we made a joke earlier. Who trusts the medical staff? I don't trust them yet. They got some new toys to fucking probably drop on top of a player's foot. You know? Oh, sorry. Why is Martinez not back? Well, we locked him in the MRI scanner and no one knows how to open it. You know, it's a sort of shit that would happen at Man United. But, you know, Amorim does seem to be losing the plot. I've seen Ficky's messages in the chat. I sort of agree with her. He's younger than me. I stand on the touchline and sometimes I turn around and I'm almost wanting to break the dugout because I can clearly see people not listening to me. You know, what are you doing? I've told you to pass the ball around and not run with it. And then they're trying to beat 4 or 5 players. And you're like, I've told you, take him off. And I'm just a coach. So as a manager, I can't even imagine how frustrating it is. But when people don't want to listen, that's okay. Making a big deal about someone watching penalties. I've seen clips of where Klopp never watched the penalties, turns his back to some of the penalties. You know, managers do weird shit on the touchline. They also say weird shit to deflect from their players. It's one thing you're taught very early on in media is deflection. You know, if something's clearly not being right and you're waiting for them to call it out, start talking some random shit so they ask you more questions about it. It doesn't look good, but that's the position we're in. Deflection, PR, spin. Right, there's one thing we are 10 out of 10 for, and that is PR. So, yeah, I think around 9th, 8th, 7th, somewhere like that currently. But if the goalkeeper comes in and does back his own stats up, then you will see us move up. We wouldn't have lost to Arsenal. So that's at least 1 point gain there. We probably wouldn't have lost, had the point against Fulham. That would have been a win. And then, you know, that's just if we bought him in when we actually tried to buy him, you know, not 3 months later. So, yeah. I know then you nailed on the head. By not signing a midfielder, you screwed us. But because I don't believe we needed to sign 2 number 10s, but I'm over the moon over the 2 number 10s we signed. But one of them we have to sacrifice for a midfielder currently. And which one do you take out? That's my question to everyone. Tell me who you dropped to sign a believer out of our signings, because we would have to sacrifice the signing. And it is not the goalkeeper at 21 million.
No, yeah. And we were doing a quick round around the table. So quick, Johnny, outgoings, incomings.
Incomings, outgoings. Incomings. I mean, I do like Cunha and then Bloomer. Those are quality signings, so I would give a good mark for them. Sesko's young. I'd say Lamens, young goalkeeper. We don't know how he's going to react. Incoming, and we did need a midfielder, so we needed minimum 5. So maybe a 6 out of 10 signings. As for outgoings, I'd probably give it 5, probably, because we got rid of the minimum, the bomb squad and everything. But my issue is that, as I said before, Rasmus Højlund is the only player who wasn't part of that bomb squad who we got rid of. There needed to be more players that we let go. You know, Onana's still here. You know, Luke Shaw's still here. You know, players like that. So for me, I think we should have done more to get plays out and sooner in the window. But yeah, that'd be my rating. So maybe a 5-6 overall out of 10.
Okay. And where do you think we will end up next at the end of the season?
I think we'll get Europe.
Okay, so 7th, maybe 8th.
Yeah, about 6th place, I think.
Okay.
5th, 6th place, I think.
Vicky, thank you for the super chat and the membership chat. But I want to get Noradin's question first, and then we are finished with this segment, and we will answer your question, and then go to a quick Q&A before we wrap up the show. So, Noradin, what's your prediction for the season? Don't hold back.
It's a big if. I think he's doomed to fail. I think they've let him down. I think he saw it in the first game or the second game of we need physical, we need runners. Remember what he said after one of the games in the preseason?
Yeah,
come out and said
second game in America.
Yeah, we need runners. We need strength in midfield. We need strength in midfield. And I don't know what game was it where Bruno was almost getting emotional and saying, "Oh, we need players. We need players." Remember what game? I don't know what game it was, but it might have been during the preseason.
Florentina. It was after the Florentina one.
There you go. So, yeah, I think he has to coach. He has to do one hell of a coaching job for Manchester United to finish in even in Europa League. I think I agree with Stu. 3-5-2 you could accommodate some of the players, but I also, the glaring hole with that is that we don't have the squad and depth to back it up. Martinez is a midfielder. Martinez struggles when people run at him on the back. He's not blessed with the pace. He is a good ball player though. Somebody wrote to me on Insta the other day. Well, yesterday, the day before, and basically wrote a whole almost an article saying to me, Masraoui should play in midfield. I mean, that's what fans are doing. Masraoui should play in midfield because he's a good footballer. And
he can play in the 10.
More. Yeah, well, there you go. And that's what I replied to him, just with a laughing emoji. But I think he will have to coach his socks off to get there. I do think the game a week, I genuinely don't think, because majority of the players, this is what I said from the beginning of the summer, and I spoke to Jarvis and Stu multiple times. I said Manchester United needed a goalkeeper. We needed a centre-half, left-sided centre-half who can play this system, who's got pace, who's also good at bringing the ball out and actually following, like the system was in Sporting Lisbon, who actually physically dominant. I said we needed at least a wing-back. I remember I talked about a wing-back. I said maybe a midfielder who is physically dominant. And I did say maybe we needed a number 10. I didn't bother about a striker because I said this window, we should be about setting the base to play from. And then once you have a base to play from, then you go out and get the striker that you need to be the cherry on top, right? And I'm happy to be patient because I think you could get anybody with Zertsky and Højlund. I think we could have hauled that off and bought a midfielder, going back to what Mark said. The money should have been spent on 2 midfield players for me. It's the Sesko money. Money.
You're right there, Noradin, because you play midfield, don't you? That's your position. Box-to-box player, bit of skill, bit of aggression, goal scorer. You know that type of player, don't you? For me, and I've said this before, sorry, Jarvis, I know we've got to go to the Q&A, but for me, having somebody like you in front of me as a 6 is a dream. Absolute dream. Because all I'll do is win it and give it to you. It's a dream. And you know as well as I do how easy and difficult a 6 can be at the same time. And it's only difficult when you don't have somebody who's willing to take the ball from you. Somebody who's then willing to, as soon as I give you the ball, you're off 20 yards. fucking head down off 20 yards because you already know what you're going to do with it. And then you can start pushing us up the pitch. But when we transition, you've got the energy to get back. But that's where we're struggling because the 6 is then exposed. And how many times, and you know this, and Nuruddin, because you're there, was Casemiro exposed against Burnley? And that purple patch you were talking about, those 3 engulfed Casemiro because Bruno was a little bit late, or he was pointing, or he was arguing, or he was doing this, or he was doing that. And it's not what you need. You need not only composure, but you need discipline. Sorry, Jarvis. I just wanted to say, thought you were right.
I agree with everything you said. Thank you for the compliment. I actually liked setting up goals rather than scoring them. But I look back, I think in 93 or 94, Roy Keane, when we bought Roy Keane and played him next to, obviously Robson was getting old at that time, and
Robert was getting old, yeah.
Ince was the one that was driving, and they would communicate which one goes, which one stays. I look at it, I think we have nobody in midfield that can carry that football, other than a bit of Kobe. But when he loses it, he hasn't got the power to get back and to sprint back. And we're going to, so in terms of position where we're going to finish, top 8, top 10. So that's how I see it from what I see.
Yeah. Fair enough. Vicky Wittenberg, thank you for the membership chat and the super chat, actually. So first of all, she said sent us a membership chat of all of your members. You have your own membership chat that you can actually use. It's part of the membership. You are one a month. And also a super chat from Witherbird, and she's just saying, would you like the panel to answer the question? So the question is, do you think during the game Amorim is a communicator to his staff or just sulks? So what is it? And do you think the players perceive him as a good communicator during games, or a leader, or?
Well, I'll be quite quick on this one. I actually think he's a sulker. I think he's a sulker. I mean, I would look across to him and I would see, I don't like a manager on his knees, crouching. I like a manager in the area, looking around, strolling around and watching the game. And as and when he sees something, I want him to point out and just say, oh, you should be there. That's all you're looking for. You don't want a million instructions off the bench because you've got to concentrate on your own game, but you want little things. Nuruddin, you're 10 yards too far, mate, get back. That's all. And Nuruddin, yeah, okay, no problem. Doesn't even acknowledge the gaffer. He hears it and he drops back. But Nuruddin will look at me and say, Stu, why don't you fucking tell me? And so you should, because I should have been telling him to be 10 yards back, which is what Mark was saying. So I think Vicky's right. I think he's not a communicator. I think he's a fucking sulker, and I don't like that about him. And that's all I wanted to say on that.
Okay. Anyone else wants to chip in?
Well, from a coaching point of view, I do see him talking to his coaches constantly.
So do I. Yeah.
But I don't see him shouting out onto the pitch. I wholeheartedly take on what you're saying, because I'm sorry, when someone's out of position, once you might let it go, twice maybe. Third time, when you're saying too far forward, I'm screaming at them. Even just as a coach, I wouldn't even need to be the manager. I'd be the coach. Like, get the back. How many times we worked on it in training? You let them know, but you can't do that in this day and age. And football is broken. The world is broken. Apparently, you're not allowed to talk to people with any kind of emotion. But I sort of agree with Vicky's point that she's getting at is he looks like he's sulking, but that's a very Latino sort of way of being. But now look at the people he sulks with. Bruno's a sulker. Diego's a sulker. Amorim's a sulker. Oh, you're all from Portugal and you all get on.
That's true.
Hey, listen, there were times Ronaldo sulked as well.
Ronaldo sulked. They're just very emotional people.
Yeah.
Is it good? Sometimes it's good TV. Is it? And it's inspired this question. But from a coaching point of view, I would rather always have a Klopp, a Ferguson, an Arteta, a Pep. You know, they are shouting constant. They're coaching you through the game. Now, again, if I need to turn and look at what my manager is saying, then my head's already not in the game and I know I'm really doing something wrong. I should be able to take on instructions without turning my head. I should know the 11 voices that are on the pitch. Do you know, that sort of thing? I played enough football to see that. So, yeah, Amorim, I think, maybe needs to give the players more. But if what he's seeing is so wrong and they're not following it, I can also understand that he's Manchester United's manager. The world's media is sat directly behind that dugout, writing down every little word he makes, every little thing he does. And he knows that. And he could be too smart for his own good. Where, do you know what? Sometimes it's better to say the wrong thing for the right reason than to say nothing at all.
Yeah. I think there are times where he certainly needs to regulate his emotions. So on that, I think Andy Mitten made a point, you know, like when he gives his interviews and it's like it doesn't come across great. But sometimes you got to remember English is his second language as well. Because sometimes there'll be times where us English, we expect people to speak perfect English, and then when they say something that's like, oh, it's too emotional, but that might just be him talking normally in his native where he's from, you know. But for me, yeah, he does maybe need someone to be like, you know, you should be careful looking like this. And I do agree. I have seen him on the touchline giving out instructions at times. I mean, people took the mickey out of him, you know, Grimsby. Obviously, there's that picture of him, you know, with the, you know, the sheet in front of him, and he's trying
the tactics board
solution. So this is what I mean. Like, that's not a great look, but there's another way of him trying to find a way to get something to work. So
you know all that was about, don't you? You know, all he was doing there was getting it ready. So when he went in the dressing room, I would have smashed it in every single fucking player's face. Here.
What I would say is,
he
might be one of those people where he's got an iron grip behind the scene. You know, what was that thing he said about Rashford? You know, after the Europa League final,
he broke the TV, didn't he?
Yeah,
he broke the TV in the changing room.
And what did he say to Garnacho? You better pray you get a new club. You know, so words to that effect. So I think behind the scenes, he probably does have a bit of a. And of course, he was backed by the club to put those Anthony Garnacho, Rashford, you're not coming on pre-season. So I do think he's got a bit of a grip. But for me, I would suggest, you know, someone's helping, just, you know, be yourself, but at the same time, be wary that if you're like this a certain way, you might be criticised for it. But we all know the English media will call out any slight issue, you know, particularly if you're a foreign coach.
Yeah. I think you want to say anything?
I don't mind passion. I don't mind passion. What I do mind about him is that he's been here for 8 months and he's threatened to quit 3 times.
Yeah.
I'm not having that.
Question then.
Well, then Pep has threatened to quit a few times, though, hasn't he?
Pep's got how many trophies behind him?
I know that, but
nobody cares about him.
Look, can I just ask this then? If you come in to do a job, doesn't matter whatever your specialty is, your thing, and you're told, I want you to train all these people up to do that job the same way how you want it done, and they don't listen, and those players are not going, do you threaten to quit your job? Do you start looking for another job because your workplace won't change it? So do you start thinking, what is the fucking point in me being here? Just in general, take it out of football context. Take it out. This is his job.
But Mark, you know what I would do? I would go through with it. I think
once. I agree with you.
Once and twice. A third time I would go. I would just go because I'd be like, right, this is impossible. You're putting me in an impossible situation.
But he could do that. He's now been screwed.
Yeah. And that's what I think. I think he just looks really badly.
Yeah.
Where he's the guy who's communicating. We don't hear that much from Omar Barada. We're not hearing abroad. You hear from the president of the club. You hear from the sporting director. you constantly hear from them. In Germany, you hear from the people who run the football club, as well as you hear from the coach. I saw a clip, actually, and I did see it in the game. And actually, the clip reminded me. There was a moment that Casemiro, the ball went out of play, somebody was injured. Casemiro went to get water, and Casemiro covered up his mouth, tried to talk to him. And he totally blanked me, just went like that, and just was so angry, he just walked away from me. I'm like, at least communicate with a player. You know what I mean? Communicate with him.
Yeah,
do a bit like that. You need to calm down. You need to calm down and then communicate with him, and then take it out on them when you get in there. When you get in, you do that when you get in. You have to try to be seen to be on the player side specifically. I mean, come on, I grew up on the Fergie. Fergie used to run out from the dugout. We all know the steps. We all knew the face. The finger used to go, and he used to do that. And then sometimes he would go, you're coming sitting next to me if you carry on. So
Nordin,
I don't mind.
Would say that. They hated playing on that side of the pitch because he was in their ear for every little mistake they hadn't done. Every 5 yards they might have been out. You know, this is football. And shit happens. And do you know what? It's okay for you to be called out for you're not doing your job right. But unfortunately, the world doesn't allow that anymore. And that is true.
No, but I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm saying you should. A coach or a coach should be able to call things out. Like I grew up in that generation. Every other word is effing. You know, I swear when I'm on my channel sometimes, and people are like, you swear too much. I'm like, it's football. I went on the terraces as a kid. Every other word was F this, F that. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's part of working class culture.
It's a working class game. It has working class language. But the only one thing I will say, after having kids, I'm the same, Nordin. I come home from coaching a game and I swear a lot. And when I then step away a couple of days later to swear and go back to training or whatever, it's inbred. Well, inbred. It's probably not a good way of putting it. But do you know what I mean? It comes as
conditioning.
Doesn't make it right. And
no, it doesn't make it right. But it's in a football context. When I shout out my teammate, it's in a football context, and he's saying it to me. What the heck are you doing?
No, then I'll give you another two contexts.
You lost another one-on-one battle. You lost another physical battle. What are you doing? Buckle up. Are you here? Are you with us? That's what the type of language it was. That's what it was. So I don't mind that. And a club of Manchester United, that's what it should be. I don't mind that at all.
It takes away the power of the statement you're trying to make by putting the swearing in. That's what people are being taught now. What I will say is drinking was part of the football culture. That's pretty much come out. The other one is you find me a footballer, you might say they don't do it in the Premier League, you find me a footballer that doesn't play Sanaka. It's part of the culture. You bet, you drink, you swear. That is football culture. And they're trying to change it. So if one thing changes, you've got to understand the other things will change. And that's where other things come in for it. And if they don't have these releases and they don't have a way to put across their anger, they don't have a way to take their mind off of the stresses, the only other way to do it is reading everything in social media, and that's what it is. So now all his comments are getting read. So every little comment's blown out of proportion. And this is what I mean. Sometimes is it better to say nothing when you can't say the right thing because it will be misconstrued? It's got to be the worst thing in the world to be the Manchester United manager when everyone wants you to fail. And until we get back to being the number one team in the league, the number one team not on paper, not on stats, not anything like that, winning everything is taken out of context and try to make you look bad. And then these people read that and they get the wrong mindset and they go into training the next day with the wrong mindset.
My issue for him is mainly...
That's weak footballers. Gents, it is 2 hours and 4 minutes, so we've got to get to the Q&A, otherwise we're never going to finish.
No, let's do a quick Q&A, 5 question at max.
Let's do that. Have we got the Q&A jingle, old friend?
Let's play it.
Let's play the jingle. Tell you what, Jarvis, I keep saying we get younger and younger every time we get that. Wow. 296 you're watching. I don't know if we've reached 50 likes yet. I'll let Jarvis look at that. It's been absolutely
103 actually, 103.
103
so
likes. Fantastic. It's been an enthralling debate. I hope you've enjoyed it. Myself and Jarvis love listening to Nuruddin, Johnny K, and Mark. I've been on a bit of a rant today. I haven't been on a rant for ages, but I felt the frustration bubbling up inside of me. We are going to do a very, very quick Q&A, and for once, we're going to be very tight on our schedule with our answers. But we do have some great questions, as always. You want to get your questions in, and we can't manage them tonight. Myself and Jarvis, although we'll be on our way, but I have a special dispensation to join the show Thursday night. I am allowed to join the show Thursday night. So I'll be doing that from a lovely cottage in Taunton.
Oh, nice.
And then I'll be back either Saturday or Sunday because it's international. So depending on when we're back, and then Jarvis corner after that. So let's jump straight into it. And I'm going to go with Jarvis for this. So question, if the so-called, and I still don't get it, the bomb squad, I know people have tried to explain it to me, so I still don't get it, are gone, who do we look at if the results continue to be poor? Asking for a friend.
Well, Man United, we love a hero and we know a villain. We love both of them, and we will always find the villains. And now the bomb squad is gone. There will be new ones. Maybe Casemiro, Bruno is starting to shape up as the big villain number one. So maybe we will all blame Bruno, and eventually all the blame will go to Amorim. We will never blame the Glazers because they have done nothing than giving us a lot of good signings the last 15 years. But this is our fan base, and I think we are influenced by the media, and the media helps out. So, and even us influencers, I do it sometimes. We all do it. We are all guilty. So it's just the way it is. So I take some responsibility. But to answer your question directly, I think the next will be Bruno, and then it will shift to Dalot, and
sure.
Out of the new players, maybe Sesko is a target if he doesn't shape up and start scoring goals. I think he could easily be a guy that people will start hating after a while, after 10, 15 games. So it's just the way it is.
Yeah, let's hope not.
Yeah.
A very quick reply from me. The really disappointing thing about the so-called bomb squad is they're all individually talented footballers who just couldn't be bothered. And that really pisses me off. Great question, Peter. I hope you're still watching. And if you are, I hope that's answered your question. A bit of a fun one, very, very quickly. I'm Titanium, likes to put a fun question out to us, and I like a fun question as well. Question to all four: what's the most memorable holiday you've been to? You asked that when you were before you came on, Nuruddin. So I'll start with you.
Probably Brazil and Cuba.
Oh,
they were really different.
Oh, nice.
Places. Yeah, Brazil is everybody in the world is there. Everybody that can look different from each other is there.
Nice.
And Cuba was a very fascinating place to be.
Lovely.
I walked around Havana for about 7 to 8 days and spoke to people, went to the university, and so yeah.
I do like the sound of Cuba, Nuruddin. I've got to say, I do like the sound of Cuba. Johnny K, you're in Florida, but you live there, so it's not a holiday.
Well, yes, true. However, 9 years ago, when I wasn't living here, I came to Disney World and got engaged to my now wife. So that would, So another memorable holiday I went on a school football trip to Barcelona. Back in 2008, visited the Nou Camp, Olympic Stadium, and there was a young man who was on that school football trip called Rúben Morrison.
Never heard of him. Never heard of him.
Went to the same school. So.
Never heard of him. We don't want another wasted talent.
Yeah.
Great memories, Johnny K. Mark?
I actually think that he had ADHD and the club couldn't figure it out. That's
You're probably right. Yeah,
probably. Most memorable holiday for me. I've had some amazing holidays, but the one that's always going to stand out for me, and I'm going to be honest enough to say it. I've probably spoke like that while I was on it. First ever lads holiday. Like, yeah, those memories you can't think.
Yeah.
I had 2 weeks away with the guys, and I came back and I had to take a week off work to recover. That is not a lie. I was still 17. Everyone else was 18 because I'm the youngest in the group. And yeah, I had to like come back and take a week off just to like get over the hangover from like not drinking for 14 days straight.
Fantastic. Jarvis?
Where did you go? You didn't say where you went.
First ever one was Magaluf.
Oh, God.
Riding trial bikes round the thing, still drunk.
I've got a few stories about Magaluf. Jesus.
By the way, I just came from Palma this weekend, and we had the discussion: do we want to go with the taxi to Magaluf just for one night? But I said no. I wouldn't do it.
I went there. I went there when I was 21, so 2013 it was.
Jarvis,
I don't. I've been around the world. So, but one of the most beautiful places was actually Egypt. You know, and scuba diving
nice.
Yeah. The Red Sea. That's beautiful. It's like diving your head down into a aquarium with a lot of beautiful life. You know, it's the coral reef. So
yes.
If you want to go somewhere beautiful, go to that place, or diving or scuba diving. Yeah, but the weather was too hot for me. It was like, I think it was like 45 degrees Celsius during the day, so it was too much for me. Yeah.
Great.
I just remembered another holiday. It's with the boys to Morocco. We went all the way. We
nice.
We went from Tangier to Marrakesh. It took us 8 hours to drive. That was a really good holiday. With Bombaye. Bombaye was my driver.
Oh, it's about when he should be your driver.
I slept at the back.
Yeah, he should be your driver. Yeah, I'm pretty lucky because I travel the world anyway, as you all know. I mean, you know, I was in Paris today, so I do travel the world. But I'm going to go with a recent one, actually, and it was work, but I'm going to go with Taipei because it was absolutely stunning. It was so cosmopolitan. I mean, you could tell I was a tourist, not only because I was, you know, the way that I look, but it was raining, but it was still 30 degrees, and I was out in a t-shirt and shorts, and all the locals are in there, you know, they're kind of Macs and stuff like that.
Where was that? Sorry, what country?
Taipei, Taiwan.
Stu, I went to Penang, which is south of Thailand, and it was monsoon season, and the drops are coming down like literally. You make a circle with your finger and your thumb, then it looks like the raindrops on that side, but they're hitting the floor, and just steam is arising.
Yeah, it is dry. I was dry. I wasn't wet. It was amazing.
It's the weirdest thing ever to be in. You could see them falling. They're like nuts, basically, water drops, and they're just hitting the floor.
That's how it rains in Africa. That's how it rains.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But like, and you're sweating at the same time as it's raining.
I was really hot. I do have some other stories to tell, but we'll keep those for a rainy day. Right, superb. What else have we got? Great question. Titanium, thank you for that. Okay, quick one for Nuruddin. You've already answered this, but if you wouldn't mind answering for Ranjit again.
Yeah, 10th or 10th for 9th, around there. Mid-table, mediocre. Unless Amorim coaches does the most incredible coaching. Unless he pulls one out there, I'll tell you, he pulls not just one, pulls about 20 points out of the rabbit hat.
Well,
the players can't go anywhere now. He's got until January minimum, so they've got to do what he wants, or they're just going to fucking.
And by the way, you're going to hear it tomorrow and the next coming weeks. I'm already going to tell you what's going to happen. We're going to sign Wharton. We're going to sign Believer. We're going to sign them in January. And we don't sign them in January, we'll get them in the summer. So you're going to get all the stories coming right out for what is happening. And then you're going to hear some stories about the bomb squad, how terrible human beings they are and all of that kind of stuff. And Amorim,
PR now.
The PR is going to go over a spin.
Yeah. Johnny K, Chet K says, what about Mazzari in midfield? Would he do a job there? It's a straightforward answer to that.
I'm not sure. I mean, I was. What game was it when Ten Hag played him in the number 10? I can't really see him in midfield. No, I think his position will be on the right defence. I think I can't really see any defender. I mean, I know Euro has the ability to step into midfield, I guess, on the ball, but I don't think, I mean, he's injury pro. Martinez might be the best suited to go into midfield from a skills point of view, but obviously, injuries might end that. But for me, I think he'll. I can see a situation where he might move Dalot to left back and possibly play Mazraoui either right back if Ahmad is injured. Well, interestingly, what I think he might do is he might move, if Cunha's out, he might move Ahmad into the 10. And then it's up for debate who plays at right back. So I could see Mazraoui possibly going to right wing back, possibly. So, but yeah, I can't see him playing in the midfield.
No, definitely not for me. Chet, I hope that answers your question. Right, guys, we've got 2 questions left. One for Mark.
I can see Mazraoui playing in midfield, and I'll tell you why. Bayern Munich, he played as an inverted fullback. Where does an inverted fullback play?
He's not a midfielder. He's not a midfielder for me. Different.
He also played as a winger when he was in his youth, innit?
He did, yeah. Different team, isn't it? Bayern, different team. Yeah. Mark, Social Joins says, and then we got one for Jarvis. Would you guys take Glasner if he becomes available?
Does he tick our boxes? That's the thing.
He's got a better midfield than us.
No, I like Glasner. I like what he's done at Palace. But as I always say, it doesn't matter about the manager if we're not going to back him with the kind of players he's got at the club he's coming from. Because at the end of the day, a manager can only manage the players he has. And if they're not the same and they don't line up, then it doesn't work. It's a gamble, whoever you put in charge. Would Alex Ferguson get a tune out of these players in 2025?
I would think so.
That's what I'm saying. The point I'm making is we know you can have an amazing manager at one club, but this Man United is not the Man United of old. So would the same manager get the same tune? Not necessarily. It's a gamble, isn't it? Everything's a gamble.
Yeah, everything's a gamble.
The only thing that I would say, Glasner is more experienced in football than Amorim.
And that's a really good point. Amorim is, what, 38?
He's 40.
He's 40 now, yeah. He's 40.
That is so young. That's younger than me, and I'm only a coach, and the manager I work for is in his 50s. So how much, like a good manager tends to be around their 50s to 60s, having all that experience and making all the mistakes Amorim might be making now.
The only coach that I'm taking, and me and everybody we agree on, if Amorim goes, is Areola. By an absolute Areola.
What, out of the Premier League, you mean? Or
out of the Premier League. And the other guy that I want, and it's a fantasy for me, is Deserve, because I love the football that he plays. I love the way he coaches the back five, the back four to play out, how the confidence he steals. He's a madman, but I like a madman. I like a maverick.
He is nuts.
He plays attacking football. And I know that we're not going to win the league. We're not going to win a Champions League anytime soon. So I want at least be able to go to the stadium and watch my team bop teams off the park.
He's Conte 2.0.
That would be brilliant.
He's more tactically, like, and attacking wise as a football.
Yeah, but it's his persona,
the mentality. Yeah. No, but that's what I love though. I love the whole package.
Yeah, I agree. I like him.
But he improves players like nobody's business. he improves players like nobody's business.
He's doing wonders with Greenwood, isn't he? To be fair, Greenwood's already netted 3 times, I think, hasn't he, this season already? Something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, he's doing well. Great question. Thank you for that social joins. Final question. We have got a load more questions. Me and Jarvis will tackle these over the coming days, guys. So apologies. But we are 2 hours, 20 minutes in from bath time. I think it's quite an apt question for you, this one, Jarvis. And bath time wants to know, do the Norwegians drop their politeness on a football pitch, Jarvis?
Yes, they do. I played with one once.
Yeah. They do. Definitely, they do. But it depends, where you are in Norway. Norway is a very long stretch country. It's at least as far from the north to the south as it is in England. Going to London or up to Glasgow or Aberdeen or whatever. So people are different, and in the north and in the west, people tend to be say a little bit fouler words. It's more cursing, but in the south, southeast is not as bad. But when I was growing up, I had a coach, he was at the current moment, he was a military guy, high in the ranks. I'm not sure if he was a colonel or something, and he was very strict. You were not allowed to say anything on the pitch. He didn't like it, but he didn't say anything. He just looked at you, like that military the colonel gave you the bad.
Granddad.
Yeah. So you understood right away. Yeah, it was like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, not particularly much personally.
Yeah. Okay. We do have Mr. B's asked a couple of questions, so let's just get one of his in quickly. It's to Nuruddin. He says, question to Nura, have you finally tried the chicken tagine at Red Marrakesh yet?
You know what? I haven't. But me and my friends were like, where should we go to eat? Because one of our friends is visiting. And we're going to go there. Big up to Mr. B.
Big up Mr. B. Right.
Mr. B's on a bonus from that restaurant.
I wondered about that.
Or maybe he works there.
That concludes the Q&A. We do have some leftovers, and I promise you we will leave them in our live section, and we will come back to those when we're next live, which I think will be Thursday night, won't it, Jarvis, me old mate?
Thursday night, yes, that's our next show. Now is it the international break now? Yes,
the international break. We've got 2 weeks off Premier League football, so
okay.
Yeah, we'll be doing. Well, actually, get some suggestions in what you'd like us to talk about, what you'd like us to discuss. The international break yields very little in terms of news, in terms of anything interesting.
Thursdays too will be a tactical show. I have a lot of clips we can analyze, talk about. I still want to talk about Amorim's offside trap high line. Sometimes it looks disjointed, so we need to analyze that before.
Right up my street, Jarvis.
It's absolutely terrible.
My street.
Yes.
High line is
we can
terrible.
talk for hours.
So disjointed.
Can I just say that offside trap doesn't work? In Sporting, he had not Iriola, in Inacho. Is it Inacho?
Yeah, Inacho.
He's really, really fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
We keep talking about the defender stepping forward. Actually, we need a central centre back who is rapid, because then he covers the spaces in behind when they're not there.
Mm-hmm.
And all three of them were. All
Okay.
three of his centre halves are quite quick.
We will save the debate for Thursday. We will talk about the high line.
I should suggest one show, Jarvis, during international break because of the panel. I'm happy to come on. I think we should talk about maybe the best team to win the Champions League. That would be really good.
It's not a Thursday. This Thursday, I have my FA Youth Cup match. So,
Interesting.
I've been in a very good mood or a very foul mood.
Well, yes, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Goblins. The under-21s beat City yesterday, didn't
1-0. Chibi Martin scored, yeah.
So, well done.
Good goal as well. Good goal. Quiz.
I am Titanium is suggesting a quiz. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, we could do a quiz.
I am current quiz champion on our channel. So
I was the last champion on All for United. So
I've never been, and we will give you on Thursday. By the way, we'll give you an update on as to where everyone is in the fantasy channel, as we've had 3 games now. I have moved up to the heady heights of 80, but I would like to point out if I'd managed to make it the first game, I'd have been top 4 because I'm on about 116 points already. So I'd have been quite good on that. My team is shaping up nicely. Make a couple of subs.
My next free transfer, so I can put Haaland in.
Make a couple of subs in the next few weeks. We'll decide. I've got an injury.
Who did you captain?
I'll tell you, I captained because, funny enough, I've got it up. Yeah, I capped Gabriel.
Yes, and that's why you failed. You can't captain Gabriel. It's Salah or Haaland. It's 2.
Yeah, I've been screwed. I've had Salah captained all season.
Hold on. Haaland fluked a fucking goal, didn't he? I mean, it was the biggest fluke I've ever. Well, it was a damn fine goal because of his movement. You want to see centre forward movement? Just watch Haaland's goal on Saturday.
But the Brighton player who won the game, that was even better striker play.
I don't go down as one of the goals of the season. That will his coolness.
It's such a shame because that Sabazlai goal will just.
No, I don't rate it. No,
I actually see Rasmus scoring over a kick.
It's a bit like that Ryan Giggs goal in the semi-final gets spoken about, and you ignore David Beckham's goal in that game, isn't it?
What I should have done, Jarvis, and I'm going to do it, is I should have captained Pedro.
Yes, he's an option.
Because he would have.
The best thing I've done this weekend was put Mark Gay in. I bought him to play him. I knew he was going to go to Liverpool and thinking his price was going to go up. And then he hasn't moved and he bloody scored. I was like, well, this is working out all right, isn't it?
Thank God he didn't go to Liverpool. Thank God.
Yeah,
well done. It was Brighton. That player didn't come from Brighton and then Gay.
That's right. Yeah, it's right. So, it's
yeah. Let's just read out the top 3 in the league after 3 games. We have Kev in first place, 72 points this game week. Gaming Simp coming in 50 points.
I need to join this league because
and we have Control Alt Delict in third place. Sir Wiki. I wonder if that's
I don't know if it's Vicky. I'll ask her.
Yeah. And just to see if I see any familiar names.
You've managed to get yourself somehow into 35th place.
We have Maradona Legends in 38th place, 62 points. So I'm right where I should be at the moment.
God knows how you managed to fluke that.
Yeah.
See him,
He cheated. He set it up. He's cheating.
Clearly.
AI. That's AI. That.
Okay, so first next 50. Let's see where is Mr. Woolley.
I'm 80.
Where are you 80?
Iron Bridge.
But bearing in mind, I've only been on for 2 weeks, so actually I'm a net 20th, somewhere along there, really.
Do you know how many?
We have Tarkovsky, Cucurella, Gabriel, a lot of defensive midfielders, Rice, Berger, Baleba, Bruno.
Who wouldn't put Rice and Berger in?
Well, it's fantasy.
Baleba's having an absolute meltdown.
I know he's having a mare. Yeah,
I think he's gone to his head. I think he made his dream to come to Manchester United.
Or as I said, currently he's only a 1-season wonder. This is where he should be judged on his 2nd season.
Yeah.
Do you know how many points I've got at the moment in fantasy? 168. I've just had a good week. I got 88 points this game week.
Wow.
I got
for that league.
Yeah, so I got
by my scores, I've scored around 60 roughly per. I'd have been way up there. I'd have been in top 20, and I'm just chilling. I'm just relaxing. Just wait till I kick into gear, fellas.
I can't do it. You know why? With my ADHD, I start cheering against my own team.
I know what you mean.
I start thinking about it. I get really competitive. and it starts to do my head in.
I don't get competitive on Fantasy League because it's just pure fluke.
Well, there's no point in getting competitive. Most of the teams are picked by AI now, which has taken the whole fun out of the game for me.
Which I don't. Mine's picked. Mine is a picked team.
Yeah, I pick my own, and these people AI check it. I think I get why, but if everyone's doing it, you sort of got to do it if you want to be competitive. But it's taking the fun out of it.
No, I'd finish bottom. I wouldn't care really. It's just a bit of a laugh, isn't it, Jarvis? That's why we set it up. It's just for the community.
And you know, it's fun for you guys. You can compete against me, Stu. You know, all the rest of the legends. I even saw the Flying Pig United. Joe was on the list. So,
he's in there. Yeah. There's quite a few. There's loads. It's just a bit of fun.
I just wish they would sort the app out on my phone, so it stops taking me to the web page. But this week I lost Saliba because he went injured. Baliba's playing crap. Super Mendy's coming out. Getting rid of Watkins. You know, I could do a wild card.
No, gee, get Mark's team up and let's have a giggle. Let's have a giggle at Mark's team.
It's weird how I've got players.
Where am I in your league, Jarvis? I think I've got 133 points, so I'm down somewhere down there.
Are you on about in the 70s then?
I am 60th.
60th.
Okay.
God.
Blinds man pick. Let's have a look.
I've been lucky with some mad points because I've got Goodman's and Feliz already had 2 clean sheets. And Guehi and Henderson had 2 clean sheets as well.
Becker's an interesting choice in goal.
Allison in goal, Lenny Yoro, Saliba. Guehi did well. Yeah,
he got a goal. And that was a fantastic goal yesterday. Guehi's goal was brilliant as well.
Yeah, it was decent.
So I've been screwed over the first 2 game weeks with Allison conceding 2 goals a game. When does he really do that for Liverpool? And at that point, I had a Liverpool defender as well in Frimpong. So obviously he got injured in the first game, so I had to get him out. I've now got this set up. I've already made one change to take out Watkins. When I take Watkins out, it gives me 14.1 million, and I can put Haaland in with Mamouche, Haaland, Salah, and João Pedro.
Who's on your bench?
Falkirk for West Ham. Who else on my bench?
Palmer, De Kuyper, and Dubravka.
I've got Palmer for Baliba. So I bought some players which will go up in price and some but won't.
I got about 500,000 left, but I'm going to have to remove one or two. I'm going to do some subs at some point, but not just
Watkins would have scored by now. I'll be honest. I thought Watkins would have.
Not at this time. I don't think I will do.
But the funny one was everyone. I know a few of my under 18s captained Woods this week. They lose 3-0. I was like, that was good.
Yeah.
Big up, Rob, Always United coming in late. If you want to rewind, we have done 2 hours, 32 minutes of the show. It's been a good debate. I think we have covered everything of the transfer window, how we rate it, what is going to happen with Amorim and all of that. So go back and check it out if you like. It's been a brilliant show. It's been a great panel. Mark, Johnny Commode, Nuruddin coming on, Stu Woolley as always, and myself, Jarvis Cocker. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Jamie Wayne, I Am Titanium, me, Rob Always United, all of you legends. Thank you to Rushmano for the gifted memberships, and with the bird for the super chats and all the questions coming in from the Q&A. So, guys, girls, it's been a brilliant show. Please do us a favor, leave a comment in the non-live section after the show, and we are on 108 likes. So if you haven't, smash the like. But if this was your first time, please subscribe to the channel. So big up to the moderators, big up for all the great community trying to help out, telling you to smash the like and all of that. Helge, I will reach out to you on X, and we will set up so you can come on the show when we have planned something cool for us to talk about. So yes, guys, girls, it's been a great show, and we will see you on the next one Thursday. Have a good night, everybody, and bye.
Big up.